I pledge allegiance to the flag.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, April 9th. And board minutes for April 2nd, 2024.
I'll move to accept that.
You'll second it.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Correspondence? Second here. So we have from Bud Phelan Law Offices a legal update beneficial ownership information report. This is a reporting requirement for most U.S. and foreign entities. Informational. It's anything that the county commission has to act on or put on the agenda. And we have from the Montana Department of Commerce. And it's been about 6 weeks since our last correspondence on the town of Drummond replace South Main Street Bridge project. Reaching out to follow up on any project updates.
Who's that from?
This is from the Montana Department of Commerce. Yes.
I had reached out to Gail Lieber yesterday because I think the last point was we were waiting to connect with them on it after you guys talked, and she will be coming in on April 30th.
So we are going to discuss this on April 30th. Okay. So do we need to respond to Lindsay?
I gave her an update, just letting her know that it's on your agenda and we'll reach out.
All right, great. You have comment?
Yeah, I think on that, we're just gonna read that. We're not waiting for the town. We're not. It's our bridge and we're gonna do it ourselves.
And
We're not going through that thing.
Well, I think we discussed that if we could get grant funds to help, why should we pay for the whole thing?
Yeah, I thought, I go against that.
Yeah, and we both voted in favor.
Okay. I just were just
Yeah.
like that. It's-
Well, even
Because I
so,
think we were led on that we had to replace it. That's what, yeah. We'll talk about it.
the next one is from Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority. And it is an update on progress being made, and it's also renewing passenger rail service to cities and towns. So informational, I guess, will be coming up pretty soon if we're going. Information where we are right now, it's not asking for our donation as of yet. And there's a webinar going on. If anybody's interested in accessing, there's a date on the webinar. Okay, the next one is from FERC license from Douglas Johnson. And he's regional engineer for FERC, Portland Regional Office. payments to FERC licensees and exemptees. As listed in our most recent annual letter, you are reminded that each license with an owner's dam safety program is required to submit results of their internal annual review as discussed below. We ask that you submit the annual review for 2024 no later than March 31st for 2025.
The Great West helps us with that.
Yes, I think we're moving along and meeting scheduled tasks.
Everything
Yes,
is-
just a reminder. Okay, this is from Mako, and it is concerning Senate Bill 299 modified the terms of Montana Code 26-2-506 to require the Attorney General's office to reimburse counties for fees and compensation of expert witness. It's just a reminder for Mako, the county reimbursement for expert witness. And that's it for correspondence. Turn to public comment. Being none, we'll move into, oh, wait a minute, got Elena, go ahead, Elena.
Thank you. Elena Gagliano for the record. Regarding correspondence, maybe I'm wrong, but when you open and read correspondence, as I've said it before, shouldn't you take an action or non-action and discuss that, you know, as far as putting it on the agenda, looking into it further? Then advise Billy if you need more information and she'll look it up, or decide you're going to put it on the agenda for more discussion. It almost seems as if Billy is already doing it for you. And I think in the future, this may be a major problem. So I just like clarification on that. Because sometimes you seem surprised of what was done. Billy took care of it. So it's just a question I have, and maybe you should look into it. Again, it may be a problem in the future. I think I know what you think I know what I mean. Thank you. Whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Is there any other public comment? Things now, we're going to move right into public comment on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction. Is there any public comment?
I have a question about the new dump fee structure.
You need to please stand up and come forward and state your name.
Matt Farrell. I
Okay,
have a question about the dump fee structure. Does that fall into this or the roads and bridges that follows next?
When the road comes up, you can be in here and ask, or you can go in and talk to Scott in there.
I talked with Scott and he told me that I should check it with you guys.
Okay, yeah, just when, solid waste will be in here when Paul O comes in the road and then it goes to solid waste. And it's
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure it was in the right spot.
I didn't mean to butt in, I'm sorry.
what's that?
I didn't mean to butt in.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't quite hear what you said anyway, so he answered the question. Any public comment? Within matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction. Thank you for signing in, by the way.
Did you realize we did so?
Okay, got 5 minutes left. If anybody has any public comment on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction. Oh, we got a hand waving. Sorry, Jim, I wasn't looking at the screen.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Jim Baquet, a local resident. I just had a comment on, or maybe some unsolicited advice on last week's little scene when we had the the political discussion being taken place between Chuck and Blanche. I think if we were a little more open, if everyone was a little more open to dissenting opinions, but we made our best effort to listen to what people have to say, I think there's an innate responsibility to the people that take the time to come to these meetings that if they have something to say, they ought to be heard, even if it's another commissioner, because in the end, it's all just opinion. So when Chuck was trying to give his opinion on that bill and he got shut down, I think could have all been avoided if we would at least give the same opportunity to the other commissioners to have their say as you give to the town like me right now to give their opinion. And all people really just is they want to be heard. So instead of holding a hand up and saying, no, I don't want to hear it because I disagree with you, maybe we should just look at it like that's a different opinion than mine, but let's hear it. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Elena has a comment.
No.
Elena has a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. Just to clarify, Mr. Burkitt's, what he was talking about, it had to do with SB 442. And I notice it's on the agenda again for today at 1 o'clock. So that should be interesting. I'm waiting to see that one. Thank you. Oh, one other thing, and I'm going to say it again for the record. It's almost seems like every other week you have a closed session. Personnel matter. And personnel, NEL, and I've said it before, is an employee, and usually it has to do with something happening within the job or a problem, not to him personally. And do we have that much of a problem with employees in this county that you have to have one of these meetings almost every other week? And I believe, according to the Montana Codes Annotated, it says at the time of the meeting, it is determined whether or not it will be closed, not a week in advance. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Okay, it's 9:20. That ends our public comment on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction. And we will start our weekly report with Road and Bridge Superintendent Paul Alt. Go ahead, Paul.
We're just, blading roads where we can blade them, doing maintenance on stuff and doing some cold patchwork in between the rain. That's just pretty much what we got going on. But everything was bladed already. Once this, we gotta go through again because it's already all. It is what it is. It's that time of year. But other than that, not much. Just doing what we can between the weather allows us to do it. Stripping some of the trucks, leaving a couple of them so they're got plows on them, but most of them are getting stripped. Working on water trucks, getting them ready to go, just that type of stuff. So,
Where we at with the crosswalk signs?
oh, I'm gonna get some locations done on that and put that, we'll get them up maybe next week. Gonna have them come up and locate, because they've got all that fiber in there now. Probably better not drive close to the
So are we gonna put the crosswalk in there?
No, just the signs. Just them electric speed limit signs. We decided not to put crosswalk in. Where
And
I'm at
Paul,
anyway.
just for clarification, what road is that?
On, Georgetown Lake Road.
Yeah, they did a good job out there. It was blazing, and then so much drop, and we got that rain and snow, they just ruined it.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't take much.
Okay, solid waste weekly report.
Everything's going good. I'm working with Rick on him covering some of his customers, his overages for the quarterly billing cycle. One of the questions that came up with one of the customers, he wants to know for his overages, when did the 20 cents start? Is it backdated, or, for the other, from July 1st to December 31st, there's overages in that period. Is the 20 cents for all of that period, or is it when we decide 4 cents for overage, 20 cents? Because he thinks that the commissioners, you guys, determined that it was 20 cents going forward, but he thinks does it go back to July 1st, or when was the 20 cents enacted?
We'll have to look back in the minutes and see when we made a motion to do that. I don't have it here in front of me.
I think Billy thinks it was in April.
You know, when it was coming up, we could answer it. I can't answer it.
Okay,
No
where
cost.
we made the decision it would be 20 cents.
Yeah, for overages.
It was in April
Well, I think Billy,
to go into effect July 1.
yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to clarify.
We'd have to look back and see when we made, I don't have it in front of me or nothing, so I can't really tell you.
So that's something we can
So the
table.
question you're asking is you've got overages from prior to July of 2023 that you have
No,
sent out?
those have already been set.
Okay.
It's still at 4 cents, but starting July 1st of 23, our the
Going
new fiscal
forward
year,
would be 20 cents.
is that what we're?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, so I'll just do that and let that person know, because it was determined prior to. And then you made that decision for July 1st. That makes sense to me. When he asked that question, it triggered, I don't know when it was actually established. So,
and just to make sure, we'll look up and see just when we set that policy to go into effect.
right, that sounds good.
Okay,
That's it,
Yeah. I think we had public comment from someone about solid waste. Did you have a question?
Yeah,
You
so
need to
Matt
state your
Farrell,
name again, please.
Matt Farrell, and Scott was talking
Oh,
about.
this was your question?
I had the question,
Oh.
and so it went into effect July 1st, 2023 is what it sounds like.
We'll find out for sure.
So how do I proactively pay that before the bill comes out, is what I'm trying to figure out.
We've discussed you can buy units at a 7 cents rate. That will cover your overages.
Is it quarterly or
Well, you're,
twice a year?
what's quarterly for you because you're granite disposal customer.
Quarterly.
Yeah.
And so can I get those dates when they need to be paid by, to pay 7 cents instead of 20?
You can go in there right now, and buy a unit for 2,000 pounds, and that's good for the whole season, if you don't go over the 2,000. And you can look it up online at any time and tell you if you're getting close to that and you need to buy another unit.
Yeah, I just need to know how to get notified. So he said I'm the 4th largest user in the county. So I
Yeah,
take a lot of
I mean,
construction stuff.
tell you that,
Sometimes
it's
your
just-
bill's $3,000 instead of $300.
right.
Okay, so just start work with Scott.
Yeah, we can,
Okay, thank you.
we'll set all of those.
Any other questions?
I have one on the roads and
Okay,
bridges.
you want to come forward and state your name, please?
Yvonne Driggs Crum, I would like to know the policy for plowing the roads that are supposed to be plowed at the lake. What roads are qualified as plowable? There is from Denton's to, I think, East Forks Reservoir, the Dude Ranch. My husband has to call every few days to get it plowed. What is the policy of plowing roads up there?
And
They're
you're on,
required to be plowed,
and you're on Dude Ranch Road,
yes.
when it's muddy in the spring, like I told him, you just can't plow.
Well, there's times that it's not muddy and my husband has to call and there's major inches up there. We are plowing our roads between Critter Lane and Lodge Pole. But we're all paying taxes up there and as far as we can tell, we get no services. I'm sorry, but we don't. And you can laugh about it, but the taxes keep going up there. There's more and more people up there. I guess I would like a list of what roads we're required to plow. What service taxes from the lake. I want to know how much taxes are coming from the lake via property, vehicles, RVs, and what services we get for them taxes. We would like a list of it.
I can answer the vehicle and RV question.
Okay,
That all goes to the state and then they redistribute
okay,
it.
how about property taxes? I would like to know how much is being paid up there, and it's more and more taxes from the
So
lake.
you're wanting a certain section of the total.
The whole Georgetown Lake area, how much taxes come?
Okay, I can give you a total on
Okay,
the year for the county-wide.
no, up at the lake, from the lake,
So may I give you that total?
yes,
Okay, we get 443,000 countywide in real estate taxes.
okay, but you don't know what the section of that comes from.
That would be
Georgetown.
something, I don't know, maybe call the Department of Revenue and ask them if they can
Okay.
map it out, that area, and give you a total for that.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that works, but
'Cause we
they're the
pay-
ones that can probably designate an area and print it
Find
out
out how
to
much
see
is coming
what.
from there,
what
because every year I know
taxes.
it's going up. There was a house next to us that sold for over 700,000. And I'm gonna tell you what, that tax guy was up there measuring it within 2 months to get more money.
Was that, I can't.
There was a house next to ours that went from over 700,000. And there was a tax guy up there measuring within 2 months to raise those taxes. We're paying more and more taxes. I'd like to know what services we get. We don't get water, sewer, minimal roads. What services are offered to our area for the taxes that we pay? We'd like a list of services.
Well, being you only pay probably, what, for the road? What you pay for the road, I guess we'd have to take your tax bill and split it out to see exactly.
We pay for everything up there. My taxes at the lake were more than my 2,800 square foot house in Wyoming. They're more at that lake. For a 900 square feet house.
Okay, go ahead, Blaine.
So I mean, there is the fire protection in the school district, so school, in the hospital district, so hospital. So, yeah, and then the roads, so, I mean,
Fire is volunteer up there.
yeah, but it costs money to run the program. Yeah, I mean, the fire trucks and fire halls.
Okay, so I call the state to find out how much tax money is going to come up there. And then what roads are required? And I know there's a problem with the Lake Shore Road, but what roads are required to be plowed?
As far as Dude Ranch Road, I'm not sure that is a county road, that is another.
How about the main road
Another
coming
problem.
from Denton's?
We plow from Denton's to, on the Granite County side, you know, there is part of that Deer Lodge.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
what, when we hit Denton's Point and get into Deer Lodge County, it's
Mhm.
clear.
Good.
90% of the time.
And we plow during the week, not on the weekends, unless it's really bad. Our guys are union and they don't have to go out on the weekends. And I mean, they plow 5 days a week. You're not gonna act like you're up there and haven't been plowed for months. Because that's
No,
not true.
there's been periods of a week that we have not been plowed up there. There has. And it's getting pretty deep up there at times.
If we got snow, they're up there all the time.
Okay, we'll start taking pictures and notifying you. Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Okay, we're going to, are you discussing,
Elaine,
No, I just have one simple question that I'd like to get from Paul.
okay, may I make a,
You go ahead.
we're going to be discussing with Cameron at 9:40. Can we hold this off for that discussion, or
It's real simple. It's
Okay,
gonna take
go ahead.
less than a minute.
state your name, please?
In my case, what I would like, when you have a chance, would you be kind enough to give me a breakdown of what you have for a budget for Georgetown Lake? And then what you've actually spent?
Well,
When you have a chance, you don't have to give it to me right now, because it's probably not in front.
no, I can give you kind of an idea.
And I don't care if we wait on his response.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. I am also a property owner up at Georgetown Lake. And I knew this was going to be very contentious today, seeing the number of people that are also on remote. Something I found out, and I just want to tell all of you, and I found it out by accident. Granite County has a tax appeal board. And if you look for it online, you'll see it. And what surprised me is that I don't think many people know about it, because when the property tax bills went out, there was a lot of people who were upset. So look online, that's where it is for information. Just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Okay, we are at our next agenda item. And that is our gravel seal bid openings and discussion. Do you have a letter open or something?
is there one in here? I thought might be back over here.
First is from Mark T Contracting Inc. This is truck.
He just brought it in, probably got through it wrong.
Oh, yeah, there's two different stats. The top is.
Or the truck bid's getting open today too.
Yep, they get open right after. The truck is on top and then
He
gravel.
just brought it in, so that's probably why I got through it.
We're gonna do this at the same time. The truck bid.
And it comes next. you know,
Yep.
put it back.
Truck was on top, gravel's on the bottom, I'm sorry.
It's a second agenda, I know. First is the gravel. and then we'll go with trucks.
All right, that
Yeah, this is-
gravel bid.
I apologize. We've got one from Sarah.
Okay. 348 Gravel Company. And 3/4 minus gravel, 16 cubic yard, 10,000 yards at 16 cubic yards at 160,000. And do that right.
Yes, because we're getting 10,005 up and 5 down.
Okay.
I mean, 4 or 5 is up, we're up here in 5.
So it was 16 a yard.
What's that?
It was 16 a yard.
16 a yard. Is that all we need to know? Gravel bid. From Bob Weaver Construction. At $14 per yard. Oh, my phone's ringing. I'm ignoring that. Hear my phone ringing. Gravel bid for F&R LLC Munis Pit. $10,000 yards at $11 per yard. Total 110,000.
Who was that?
This is F&R. Bid. This is from T3 Rock Products LLC. And their estimate is $13.50 per yard.
How many yards?
They didn't put the total yards down, but just, yeah, they got truck. They did not put the 10,000 yards down.
So that would mean we're however many yards we need at $13.50.
Assuming.
Okay, that's our bids.
So one was that 11 per yard,
F&R
F&R.
on this side of the county.
Do we take the low bid? Do we make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the F&R.
Well, we wanna follow
I guess,
We wouldn't wanna haul that all the way to the lower valley though.
so would we talk to them? I think this is gonna have to be, because I see everybody has hauling on there, and if we plan on doing it ourselves, I think we need to look at this over and then find out, say we took the 5,000 from F and R up here at $11 and whoever's next cheapest one down there, then but I think we better table this and talk about, because they got all that hauling and stuff in there too.
And we're gonna haul ourselves. Okay.
But I think we better look at it, I mean, before we make a big decision, because we don't wanna go and tell them that. I think that'd be the best way, we'll just table it for next
Okay.
week and then we can talk.
So
Yeah.
do we need to table it and reach out to them and tell them that
Yes.
we need to rebid because?
Not rebid, just that we're gonna look it over and find out who's where and where we're hauling and that, so we might just tell them that we're only taking 5,000 out of Munis's, or whoever's, and then take the other 5, because we sure the hell don't wanna haul from here down.
Okay, all right, so this agenda item will be tabled until we reach out to
And figure it out.
Yeah,
the people that have put the
we
bid in.
can put it on the agenda for next week, we'll have to finalize on it, then we'll know for sure.
Yeah, Billy? Okay, thank you. So we have, next agenda item is contract for hauling bid, opening for periodic work throughout the calendar year. This is from Shed Horn Hauling. And $150 an hour, one truck available. If fuel rises to $4.50 a gallon or above, it'd be $160 an hour, one truck available.
If fuel rises to what?
I don't have
Hey,
anything
hey,
else.
Hey.
Did you say
Take
that?
it outside, take a call.
Did you say that, Dan?
Oh, $150 an hour, one truck available. If fuel rises to $4.50 a gallon or above, they'll do it at $160 an hour, one truck available.
So if it goes to $1 a gallon, we'll do it for.
Truck bid. This is from Graney Trucking LLC. And they have one truck and trailer and a belly dump 18 yards, and they will charge $140 per hour. Available 3 to 5 days notice beforehand. At the 18-yard belly dump at $140 an hour. Fuel surcharge with $5 an hour rise in every 50 cents in fuel increase. Bob Weaver Construction has 2 dump trucks at $130 per hour and 2 belly dumps at $150 per hour. And this is from Mark Teague. And he has a dump truck at 125 per hour, 12-yard capacity. And he has combination 4-axle dump truck, 3-axle dump. 20-yard capacity at 155 per hour. Mark Teague is doing the dump truck at 125 per hour. They got these wolves a little mixed up.
That's okay, I'll sort them.
That's it for the truck bids.
So you'll accept them in priority of the amount, right? First one gets called out, the lowest gets called out first?
Yep. It's on the trucking, then we'll take the gravel for next week.
Okay.
Need to make a motion.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I'm just reading, sorry. I'll make a motion that we accept the truck bids on the home if we need them
And we'll take the lowest bid or
first.
lowest bid first.
Second.
Any public comment? Things done? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried, passed.
Yes, when we get this stuff for next week, we'll look at that.
Yeah. We got the availability too.
Yeah. And if they have.
We're a little over on our agenda item. Is Cameron here?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Um,
Yeah, we can get into the chair.
I'll go to the chair.
Thank you for the bump, Cameron. Shake.
You can sit there, Cameron, also.
Is that my new line?
Hey, Blaine, maybe in your expertise, you can summarize for us really quick what the problem is here.
Okay, so the, Lakeshore Drive has been on the commission's agenda numerous times here. We've had folks from the Georgetown coming down saying that the road's unsafe. We have a lot of kids there living along there in those, I believe it's the Forest Service rentals. So the county tried the speed bumps, that didn't work. We had a proposal from the homeowners up there, one of the homeowners saying a crosswalk would be a good thing to be installed. The commission, don't want to speak for the commission, but I think you liked that idea, thought it was a good idea. The county's gonna put up a crosswalk on Georgetown Lake Road. Forest Service did not like the crosswalk idea. The county decided that we're gonna, again, don't want to speak for the commission, but I believe this is what you guys said, was that if county's gonna do the maintenance up there, they should be able to do the safety stuff as well. So it's not, to me, I don't think it was about dollars or tax dollars or anything like that. It was about safety issues, potentially there's some middle ground to be reached. I mean, that could be discussed here today. I know public's here, they want to give comments, but I think seeing if middle ground could be reached is something to consider.
So that's a summary from Granite County. And Cameron, if you could give us your.
Yeah,
opinion
sure.
on
Are there
this,
people
please.
online?
Hmm?
Are there anybody online?
Yeah.
So many.
Oh geez, lots. Okay, yeah, Cameron Razor, I'm the district ranger with the Forest Service here in Phillipsburg on the Pentland Ranger District. And my intent today was just to come in and discuss the agreement, make sure we're all on the same page with the agreement, because a lot of this information I learned was from NBC Montana on their article that they put out. So I feel like there's a little confusion between the agreement and the annual maintenance plan that I'd like to discuss, as well as talk about how the flow of money works with the federal government and where I'm allowed to use appropriated dollars, where I'm not allowed to use appropriated dollars. And then to get into, once the agreement discussion is over, to get into the annual maintenance plan for this year, if we're gonna have one. And to really nail down from you guys what exactly you're gonna do at the lake and what you're not gonna do. So those are the talking points that I want to get over.
Scott, do you have a comment?
No, I think that's the main thing is, when you said NBC, I never talked, I'm not saying you accused me, but I never talked to those people.
No, I said there was an article. They
But
put
I'm
it
just
online,
saying,
yeah.
I just wanted you to know that we haven't reached out to them.
Chuck, do you have a comment?
I just want to say that we also put up speed signs and they were ripped down, right? And so we can't please anybody up there. It's not our rule.
Okay, so my comment is that we did, this is the same road that we had put the $50,000 on to have it fixed, right?
You guys promised the 50,000, yes.
So we paid the 50,000.
No,
Yeah, we did, we just got it reimbursed back,
okay.
so we did pay it. Okay. And then it came, COVID came, and everything went kind of cattywampus. And then the offer came back to fix the road, but at 400,000. And at 400,000, we didn't have the funds to fix it. As I mentioned earlier, our real estate taxes for the whole county is $443,185. That was at the end of 23. So in 23, real estate taxes just for the road alone was $443,185. When the offer came to us to put 400,000 in there, we couldn't put the 400,000 because we didn't have it, because we have $1 million budget plus for the road. So that was where we're at with trying to get that road drivable. I mean, we know that road needs fixed, correct? And so now what we're doing is we're waiting, hopefully, for what, flat funds where there isn't going to be any kind of match so that we can fix that road. The problem here is when it was decided that we couldn't maintain it was the fact that when we've asked for help from the Forest Service, they say no. And so what you're saying in our maintenance agreement with the Forest Service is that the county is responsible for 100% of the maintenance, which is the gravel and the snow plowing, and nothing from the county, but the Forest Service has a say on whether or not we try to slow the traffic down because it's so fast and so dangerous up there. And they say, no, you can't do that because it's a Forest Service road. That's why we made the agreement that, okay, then maybe we should not even have an agreement with you for that road. And that's where we're standing today. Am I correct? Am I?
Good job.
So I'm not sure how we're going to address this, Wayne, how we're going to, do we reach out and take public comment?
Well, Cameron was gonna propose the new maintenance agreement, potentially hearing that out first
Okay.
and then, or am I misunderstanding that?
Well, that's the last thing we
Oh,
need to discuss.
Okay, all right, okay,
If we even get to it.
okay, all right, so yeah, you take public comment.
Okay. So let's start online first to see if we have any public comment. And we have the first comment from Elena. Go ahead, Elena.
Hold on, let me get up there. Oh, I have some other people that I missed admitting. I'm sorry. Sorry, my screen keeps moving.
And we're gonna try to keep them at 3 minutes.
Okay, so we're gonna keep this down to
So everybody gets it.
3 minutes, just so that any and everyone will have their say and their feelings. So go ahead, Elena, your time is starting now. Louder.
Thank you. Dan Elena Gagliano for the record. property owner up at Georgetown Lake. I was just wondering, it'd be a lot easier for all us to follow if you can put up what's online, the 2023 road maintenance plan, which is interesting. And also the letters that were sent out to the Forest Service. That would be easier to screen share so we can follow it, because I have problems with both. And if people see this information, they'll probably have problems with both also. And then I'll have questions, because the letters that was sent to the roads, Forest Service, I can see why Cameron didn't know about it until he heard it on NBC. A lot of people, again, didn't know about it. And at one of the meetings, I suggested that it be put on the agenda as an item with Cameron, with people, instead of putting signs up on the road and nothing else. But claiming, oh, we contacted them a lot of times and they never showed up. That's not getting public participation and informing the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Can we have a hand being raised by Patricia? Go ahead, Patricia. How do we do this?
Okay, Patricia Pierce, and I'm at Georgetown Lake as well. I just want to stay really quickly. You know, we are adding to the revenue for Granite County, the schools, the different things. And what I'm hearing from this meeting, though, is that there is the Forest Service that say, you know, that's their road, but then they're not maintaining it. So I do think there needs to be further discussion. And I just assume Granite County took care of that road, and it's always bad every year. So, you know, we do contribute a lot to Granite County with our taxes. So we just want to be sure that we are represented. There we go. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts.
Thank you, Patricia. Is there anyone else online? Get everybody, there's a lot of people. I wish this was this way every week. Okay, I don't see any other hands being raised, so let's keep this orderly. In the first row, do we have a public comment from the first row?
It's gonna be hard to try to take that phone and try to talk to you guys too, so these guys on the phone, my personal, they should have to wait for a little bit till we get through, because we just started asking you guys, otherwise we're gonna get out of time, and you're at the public hearing.
Is this someone that wanted to make a comment?
I think, so, if we just, let's try.
Okay, do any of you for, no? Okay, let me take this then, and then I'll get back to you guys. Granite County Commissioner's Office.
I apologize for this. I've been trying to raise my hand and I can't get through. I got 3 computers running and I can't get it.
Okay.
I am also a homeowner on Georgetown on the Lakeshore Road.
Okay.
And I lived there for over 25 years. I'm familiar with it. I know that it's always a problem. I personally don't have much of a problem with the way it's being done. I would like to offer my help. Perhaps we can form a citizens committee to be advisory to either the Forest Service or the county commissioners to help provide suggestions for speed control and that sort of thing. That's hard to agree on among everybody. As I say, I've been there for a long time, and our group can't agree among ourselves, but we'd like to offer our help if we could. I hope the Forest Service realizes this is not your average Forest Service road. This is different from a road out in the boondocks. This is a road that's heavily used and needed by residents and fishermen and lots of citizens. We're very interested in having the Forest Service and the county work together. We would hope that they could reach a middle ground and maintain this road that is so important to so many of us. We're very happy that plowing, the snow plowing that the county has done for us. The road is rough. I personally like that. It keeps the speed down, but I'm not in majority there probably. Thank you for letting me make this comment, and again, I apologize for jumping in this form. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Who is it?
It was Tangerville.
Lee Tango.
Lee Tangerton.
You can see. Okay. Okay, so first row's good. Do
Sorry.
you want to start with you, Mike?
Sure.
Okay, you want to stand up and state your name, please?
My name's Mike Hayes. I think the county should
fix it?
Are you talking with the, under
the
flap?
Flat
or,
money that we're trying to get?
You keep saying that you can't fix the roads, and I don't know what you definition of fix it is.
I don't know that anyone said fix. We talked about the crosswalks and the fixing the safety issues potentially. Mr. Messer is one of the people that was coming in saying that's a safety issue. Were you not? So, I mean, you still agree with that? Oh, okay.
Okay, so maybe my term was wrong. What do we mean by fix it? Were we trying to get, what were we doing when we were trying to get the flat money?
That was to fix it. That was to reconstruct the road.
That was to bring it back to county specs.
Did that answer your question?
Sort of.
Sorry. Stand up, please, and state your name.
Kathy Donahue, fix it, maintain it, and safety seems to be three separate issues that keep hopping around. And we don't even know until the gentleman from the Forest Service says, this is what we have to offer, this is what we're gonna do. So I think we're all just guessing at what's gonna happen. I agree with Mike, we should hear what he has to present. And then go from what we know is being presented to the homeowners, the county and everything.
Thank you. Anybody else? Cameron?
How much time do I have? Because I can go for a long time if I have it.
I think the county wants to hear what you have to say.
Okay, well, you've all heard it before. This has not changed since I became the ranger, and it hasn't changed since the prior ranger was here. So what I want to get into first, and can you guys hear me okay? Because this is such a weird.
I'll be honest with you, Cameron, I'm deaf in the doornail.
Yeah, you can stand here and speak that way.
Well, then my back's to you guys.
You
It
can
just
come over
feels-
here, Mike.
Yeah,
You can come over here, Mike.
It feels super weird to have people behind me, but, okay, first I want to get into just general road management with the National Forest System. We have roads, we construct and maintain roads for the use of national forest lands. And that's for timber harvest, for mining, for grazing, and for this particular road is obviously recreation. So we get money appropriated from Congress to work on our roads for those purposes. And it's pretty strict purpose. It says, it's black and white in the Federal Highways Act of 1958, that we do not maintain roads for residential purposes. That when the use of a road, for the significance of a road, there's a tipping point at which the importance of it for residential use exceeds what the government can do based on policy and law. And we hit this on this road a long time ago. That, yeah, I'm not denying that recreationists use that road by who knows how much. It's a busy road because of the campgrounds and the day use sites we have up there. But it's a really significant road for the landowners that live up there because you live up there. You need services year round. You want ambulance and sheriff, school buses, whatever, mail delivery, all of that has to happen. And none of that is the mission of the Forest Service. We're a natural resource-based agency that manages federal lands for those resources. Counties, Montana Department of Transportation, they're road agencies. They manage roads for commerce, for residents, for those kind of purposes. So there's the difference in our missions. So that's not, I'm not trying to get out of doing work up at Georgetown Lake, because again, it's a significant road. But we've reached that tipping point that the importance of the road is more important for residential use than it is for my use to get to a campground or to do a timber sale up there. And that's when we've tried multiple times to work with the county to give them, it's called a Forest Roads and Trails Act easement, which is just an easement on top of our existing easement or our lands, because it's checkerboard through there, as you all know. And then they would assume jurisdiction of the road and then continue to do all this, the same work that they've been doing, but it would be their jurisdiction at that point. So again, that's, you guys, this isn't new to you or Blaine, for sure. It's the same story that we've been telling the entire time. Our flow of money. So again, Congress appropriates money for us to maintain our roads for natural resource purposes. Our budget on this forest, which we're a 3.5 million acre forest, we go all the way down past Lima, Idaho, to the far east side of Whitehall to the Bearmouth exit up here, Scout Little Pass. Our budget for the whole force is $300,000 to maintain roads. There's one road grader on the north end of the forest with thousands of miles of road. So we have a really small budget that we prioritize that road grader to go work on our highest priority roads. And obviously this is a very high priority road for the Forest Service because of all the recreational use that we do have on it. So all I could commit to would be the grader to grade it once a year. The Forest Service does not plow snow. So that contribution to you guys isn't enough. I know it's not, but that's all that we could do because that road grader has all kinds of other roads to go do. And our budget is very small. So I could definitely help with grading the road once a year. And I believe according to NBC Montana, you guys agreed to grade it this last time in the spring. So then we could hit it maybe the middle of August or something like that, or whenever it would need it next. The road grader typically doesn't even show up till the end of July because they're doing Butte and Whitehall first and then they work this direction next. So we're looking at late July before we could even get a grader here. I just want to make it clear too with you guys that all of your property taxes, none of it comes to the federal government for road maintenance. That all goes to the county. So when you talk about your tax dollars, I guess don't come to me thinking that, well, you pay taxes to the federal government and that money comes for road management. None of that comes back to the Forest Service. Okay, the next thing I want to clarify, and this is with you guys too, but is the road agreement, the Schedule A, project agreements, and the annual maintenance plan. There seems to be a little confusion, at least based on the article that I read. So we have a master road agreement called the Cooperative Forest Road Agreement. That agreement expires May 1st of 2026. Under that agreement, the Forest Service can expend funds on county roads, and the county could use their money on federal roads. Without the agreement, it would be illegal for both, I believe, to use money on a road that they don't have jurisdiction of. But this agreement makes that legal. So again, there's the master agreement, and that expires in May 1st of 2026. Under that is called the Schedule A. And the Schedule A is just a list of Forest Service roads and a list of county roads that we mutually agree upon that we could work on. It doesn't say we have to. The county doesn't have to do Lakeshore Drive. It's an agreement that they can do it. So that whole list of roads, there's probably 50 to 100 roads. It's several pages long. And these are just all roads that this agreement, I guess, took place back in 1968. So it was long before I was even on this earth. But that Schedule A is a list of roads that both the county and the Forest Service back then agreed that are important roads for both residents, for commerce, and for natural resources. So they were roads that there was a mutual benefit for both agencies to make sure that they were maintained in pretty good condition. And you can imagine they're the main roads, like the Middle Fork Road, around Echo Lake, roads like that. That could be Forest Service, they could be county, but we all agree that it's important that we maintain these roads. And Lakeshore Drive and 406, the paved road up at Georgetown, is on that Schedule A list. So that's the Schedule A. Next, I'm going to skip project agreements because we don't do those very often, but the annual maintenance plan, that's what NBC posted on their website. That's an annual plan that the Forest Service comes to the county in the spring, and we talk about what roads we would like to do work on. Then we document it. The chair signs it, my supervisor signs it, and then that's just the plan of what we're going to do for that year. Those expire, I think it's every May 1st as well, but they're only good for 1 year. It's basically just documentation of what both agencies are going to be working on for that year. So I have a question for you guys when we're done about the annual maintenance plan and the agreement, but okay. So I'm going to shift gears back to here because so with the annual maintenance plan, again, I'm getting all this from NBC Montana, which is a terrible source to get information from, but are you guys wanting to cancel the master agreement or just not do a maintenance plan for 2024?
We're
What
talking
was
about
your
Georgetown
intent?
now. I mean, we're not talking about the whole thing.
No, I'm talking about everything right now.
Well,
What
we
is
wanna
your
talk about
intent
it.
with the cooperative road agreement? Is this something that we want to continue through May 1st of 2026 and adjust the annual maintenance plans, or get rid of all of it?
Well, I think the thing about that, we're gonna have to sit down and talk, and then what we can do on these roads, when we're asking to do stuff, we get told no. I mean, we gotta figure out what.
Well,
So the
I'm
master,
not gonna accept this either, because you're speaking for the Forest Service and you're saying, I sent an email in December and there was no no's in there. It talked about the process to get a speed limit sign. It talked about how many crosswalks, how are we gonna implement those on a dirt road? I never said no, I just raised questions on how we're actually gonna do some of this stuff. So I'd appreciate we clear the air with that first, that we are partners on this road and we want this road to be successful. But there's also a process to go through, and how do we actually implement crosswalks, and how many do we need and that kind of stuff, so.
And what you said right there, we are partners.
Yep.
And yes, we want the road maintained, but I think maybe we need also your help on that particular road. And maybe we can work an agreement where we don't want to give up the maintenance agreement, I don't think. Do you guys think? I don't
well,
think so.
well, for sure, the master one, we're not talking about for sure. I mean, I don't know if that got brought up by NBC Montana.
It did, I just want to
say
make
that,
sure we're clear.
Yeah, I don't think we're talking about the master one at all. We're talking about specifically, maintenance. The, also the commission sent you a letter regarding Lakeshore Drive. Did you not get that?
January,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, all right, I'll make sure you got that. I mean, I encourage the commission to stay with the master, and I don't think that's the issue. It's the.
Well,
it's the
if I may, I think like last year you brought forward that you wanted us to provide 700 cubic yards to clean up the campground, and we said no, correct? We said no, and that's kind of written in here. What we want is because of the fact that, and I know people, you pay a lot of taxes, but I also know that the road only gets so much because it's not actually a countywide tax. So not everybody in Granite County pays on the road tax. So there's only so much money. And so if we could work with the Forest Service, then I think we would continue to maintain, or are we flat in denial?
We've
on
tried to
maintaining
work with
that
the
road?
Forest Service. We've tried. It didn't work. Everything was put off on us and nothing worked. I mean, speed signs, speed bumps, crosswalks, everything gets, these people want it, those people don't want it. Those people rip up
They can't hear you back.
those
Can't hear
people
you at all, Chuck.
rip out the signs and other people rip out the speed bumps. And we can't win, and it's not our road. So that's where we're at. And I don't see why an association couldn't be formed by all these people up here and work with the Forest Service to blade that road to your specs and to do the snow plowing. But you'd have to get a whole bunch of people to agree, which would be really, really hard, but still.
So let me
it's
talk
an
to
option.
that point just in a second. So we're all in agreement, the master agreement, the cooperative forest road agreement, we're gonna continue this in the future. And then we'll just look at adjusting the 2024
I
maintenance.
think we have to look at it again.
You think what?
We have to look at the master agreement again.
That's what I say, we need to go over it, make sure.
Because that gets into what exact work are you gonna do with it? Like, are you gonna continue to plow and maintain the 406 road, the paved road? Because that's part of the master agreement, but it's not. You know, we would need to keep that in the
Okay.
annual maintenance plan.
Reading this, I think we need to keep this. It's what we need to look at is the road maintenance plan for like 2024. That's what I think we need to do.
That's what I would prefer too.
Blaine, what do you say?
Yeah, that's my advice. And then in 2026, you can look at the master plan
Yeah, I
again. I don't think you're saying no to things, but what Chuck's saying, I think, is review it and see if things are working in it. And but yeah, to me, it's the annual maintenance plan is what we're talking about.
And we're running out of time for this agenda item. So do I have do we need to get you on the agenda so that we can work out this road maintenance plan for 2020?
Well, it sounds like Chuck wants to review the cooperative forest road agreement first.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first
You want
decision we
to
have
do
to
it
make.
What is there in there that you find is
Well, I
wrong
guess
with
we
it?
need to just go over it, look it over, and we can't disagree. I think there's stuff we could add, they could add.
That's the one, that you're not talking about that one, we're talking about the master plan.
How about an agenda item to review the master plan and to look at agree upon the road maintenance agreement,
Okay.
the annual one.
Okay, so this will give you 2 time to read over the master plan and then go from there and work on the cooperative road agreement with you for 2024. I feel I read over it, I think I don't know, you guys will have to highlight what we want to change. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to make one more statement.
Okay, just a second, check once, make a statement. We've already had public comment. Okay, well, you can, we'll let check, and if you have something important to say, we'll go ahead and let you talk to.
25 years ago, we had a really good road maintenance crew on the
Excuse me?
Beaverhead. On the Beaverhead. Okay, 25 years ago, we had a really good road maintenance crew on the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest. And that was partially paid for with timber receipts, where the stumpage paid for every truck that went out, there was stumpage paid. And part of that stumpage was road maintenance. It went into a fund and that helped pay for a whole lot of road maintenance. And it was a good crew.
And that was when you were with the Forest Service, correct?
How many staff was at the Forest Service at that time, Chuck? It's like maybe a third.
You're kind of out of line there, Mike, I'm sorry.
Can you guys be quiet? We can't hear.
No, I can't say for sure. what we have. But anyway, that's just the point, that there would be money if there was, my opinion, proper forest management.
Okay, we're gonna take one more comment, Dan. Go ahead.
So where are the minutes where you guys discussed all this stuff and decided, okay, this isn't gonna work here because of the speed zone and that? Or the budget, because the budget was in there for a second, it's too expensive to maintain and all that. Can we get a copy of?
You
all-
can go right into the clerk and recorder's office, and they have hard copy, and it's online for the last 6 months if you wanna look at the
I'm trying
minutes.
using that website. It's not very.
I'm gonna print all of them and I can leave them in the clerk and recorder's office and I can email them out to folks too. So, but this has been on the agenda a lot. I'll promise you that.
Right, but I just want the minutes.
Okay, all right,
You
yeah,
guys Decided to
okay,
not
yeah.
have it, just to cancel.
The maintenance, you mean, not do it?
No, your discussion of the road.
I'll,
And
what I,
basically say, okay, we're not doing it anymore. I can't find those on there, and neither can a lot of other people.
You mean the discussion that we had right here during the agenda time?
Yeah, but not today, the ones that, when you decided
Well,
to quit
it-
maintaining the road.
it was on, for sure last week, we talked about the letter notices and the published notice. So for sure last week, but it was on prior to that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not talking agenda, I'm talking the minutes.
Yeah.
Actual minutes, your discussion,
Okay,
because last week the signs were up. So it was way before that, where you guys decided we're not gonna do this anymore.
the
We
last,
wanna know what your reasons were, you're saying, okay, safety and other things. But I wanna see those minutes.
when did the
That
signs
means-
go, oops, sorry, when did the signs go up?
Last week,
Is the,
it was decided to, put the signs, and we decided the wordage on them last week.
Lakeshore Drive.
After I got out of the meeting last week, I ordered the signs, I picked them up Thursday, and we put them up.
yeah, so the signs came up after last Tuesday.
After Tuesday.
Yeah.
And the minutes aren't online.
Me.
You're the only one who knows
Couple
about
hours
signs.
outside.
Okay, one more comment.
I'm sorry, how many complaints did you actually receive from individuals? Complaints of safety?
Say that again.
You say you had complaints for safety. How many?
We had,
Apparently that started all this.
Yeah.
Be
Quite a few
interesting to know,
people
was it
come
one
in.
person or 50?
we've had, I'd say 5 or 6 public meetings on Lakeshore Drive where Blaine Messer and the group there came down and were upset with the safety issues there.
Last summer.
Is that one person?
No, there was a group.
Oh, there was a lot of people that were here.
Well, the people that come in, you really get
Okay,
hurt.
we're
So
really
I appreciate you coming in today, though.
We need to, I'm sorry,
I
we have to
understand
move
the
on
safety
to our
thing,
next.
but here's my last thought. I understand your safety, and I'm 100% for safety. But you're shutting down all those people up there that need all that services for a few people. And I grant they need that safety, but look at what you're doing to the rest of the lake up there because of that, instead of addressing that safety issue for those people.
What do
You're
you?
shutting down a lot of people's livelihood. You're
We're
changing
not
their
shutting
lives.
down anything.
Yes, you
We're
are.
saying
You're shutting
that
it down. That's gonna
we'll,
stop.
we'll blade,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah,
maintenance will be
yeah.
turned over to the Forest Service. See, you're over talking me when I'm trying to
No,
tell
I
you
don't
what-
want to talk over you. You can talk. I won't interrupt.
Okay, I'm gonna
What,
let Blaine.
what do you think of that idea, that advisory group meetings, so that you guys can come to a consensus up there and come to the commission? Because if we're only hearing part of the story.
What are we doing?
Sorry.
Why don't we just get everybody together?
No,
Okay, we need to end this. We're way over time for our next agenda item. And we'll discuss further with Cameron. We'll get you on the agenda and talk over the master plan and also the.
What is the timetable
24
for
board
this?
meetings.
I'll talk to you. We'll figure out the time. Thank you, Kevin.
you guys, thanks.
They're just talking to me out of turn.
Yeah, just tell them to shut it down.
We didn't come here to
Okay,
stay.
that's the end of this session. Thank you.
They're gonna say comment.
Okay, the next agenda item is the dam tenders report. And we are at 6428.92 feet. As of 6:15 this morning, we are 6.84 inches below school.
That's gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up, I'd say I got 1.4 inches liquid. And so it's not going up, but I got. I don't think we have a problem.
What do you say? I can't recall that.
I'm saying we got a lot of precip up there this last week.
You wanna leave it or drop it or what?
Was it come up? Couple inches. That reflects that 1.4 that I think stay the same.
I think we'd rather.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Mike, thank you.
Apologize.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll go with you, stay the same.
Okay, is there any public comment on water at 25, keeping the water release at 25?
I assume that's good with Fish, Wildlife and Parks, they on?
They're not on.
Okay.
Well, if it's going up, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to. do
Yeah.
something.
We're gonna start that, it goes up a couple more, and we're
Yeah.
supposed to get more moisture this week, so. I think
Well, what was next week? Next week was supposed to be
safe, right?
I don't know, everyone says different. So. But for this week, let's just say the same. Next week, we might even go up.
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the next agenda item is monthly claims. Oh,
It looks like it's gonna snow up there.
Hmm?
That's the weather at Georgetown Lake this week.
You did pretty good.
I don't understand, was that comment that our minutes aren't complete?
No, I think because you guys made the decision last week and then the signs went up last week, but you approved those minutes today, so they'll get posted online today.
But the
So, but they
thing
aren't
about it,
online yet.
in our minutes, it should be like this, we've been talking about it, but we're gonna stop maintaining that.
Well,
Due to the fact that we.
Yeah, was it the letter in January stating
What?
that?
Yeah, it is. It doesn't explicitly state it, but it does discuss it.
It's just.
There.
I just got the impression that he thought we talked about it during non-agenda.
Yeah, he made that comment.
Yeah. So,
We did.
That we
We sat
discussed
there
it.
and talked.
Discussed it, yeah.
It's easy. It's got it up in the minutes, over the minutes. Getting into that big argument.
Hey,
Want me to go get your claims?
yeah. The claims review and approval is our next item on the agenda.
is Commissioner Kohler coming over from
Yeah.
Cal? Okay.
I told Ben, that's why we put it on, but he had to go to a 4-H thing somewhere else, so.
Okay,
I guess, should
I'll come down.
figure out, yeah, we need to have you here so we know what for sure we can and can't do on that.
Well, my thinking is, can I talk to you for a second about that? Is why is this not coming from like the fair board and everything? Why is it?
Their comment, Ruth called, and it's because we get, made comments
So
back
when I
to them that we didn't
told
like that.
Cameron, I said,
She's saying they still can't, they can't do that, they can't do that. Trying to figure out everything.
It smells like bad breath in here. Does it?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Well, there were a lot of people in there.
They should probably brush their teeth before they come this.
He likes the list.
I can grab you a list.
But yeah, it's because we brought it to the attention to them that,
Okay.
we're gonna, we wanna know what certification is and how if they change that, if the fair board isn't gonna be able to vote on stuff. And I didn't quite understand. I said, we need to come here. That's what
Yeah,
we
okay.
asked.
That's good. Okay.
I talked to her on the phone, I guess.
All right.
So are we gonna do on the agenda for next week, the master plan?
That works for me if it works for you
Do you
guys.
wanna look it over? Okay.
But-
I was reading it. So that I could understand.
But Lakeshore Drive specifically would be the maintenance plan issue. But yeah, if you have other issues for the master plan.
The whole thing is, that's, they got way off of stuff. And I'm trying to figure out what to do up there, and then when Cameron saying, well, then, then he throws this in, well, I throws the whole thing up there. We need, the main thing is Lake Shore, we're trying to figure out what we can and can't.
Yeah.
And then it also now got put back in our lives. That's not, this is not what we're trying to. You
Yeah.
can't keep passing it back and forth. I mean, that's why we said we're not gonna maintain the path that we were.
I thought he had said no to the crosswalk. I thought I saw that in the
They
letter.
did.
So that's some news to me that that's on
And
the
the thing
table.
about it, they never even come back in after we talked, and then we sent letters and that, we've never got no response back due to the fact we were trying to make it work so the people.
Yeah.
Now they're out here saying that they're worried about safety, but that's not. I mean, they're.
Well, that guy brings up that we're throwing everybody else under the bus up there because of this. It's not our road.
That's what I'm trying to say here is, and now it's threw right back in our life, and he's walking out. This is what makes me upset, you know. Right, well, you're not gonna know mask. Well, see, that wasn't what this was about. But he turned the whole damn thing back on us again. That's the
He
way I
did
feel.
state, though, he said, this is a Forest Service road, we have an agreement with them. If we don't have the agreement, then it goes to Forest
Yeah.
Service Road, has to maintain it. Right? He did say that?
I don't think, yeah, I mean, it's their road. I guess you'd have to
Did you
figure out
sign
from
in,
them.
Dan?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
A lot of people are asking for the form.
What, the road maintenance plan and the
No,
cooperative forest agreement?
protest the taxes. What? Did you have one like that?
It is online, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
I
think
told
so.
them to get it online, but I told my.
Yeah. And I think they're available in the clerk and recorder's office, aren't they? Or for your, is that for tax appeals?
Say that again.
Is that for tax appeals or is that something different?
Was that what he's looking for? is
Or to
tax appeals?
protest
Yeah.
taxes?
He's looking for the protest tax thing. We'll go
That's
over
separate.
there and talk to him. I
Oh,
mean, that's not why we was here to.
I think he was meaning tax appeal, yeah.
Oh, and that's in the clerk and recorder's office. And that session is closed for this year. They can do it for the.
It's closed for this year?
Mhm. Yeah, I can't remember. You file now, it's not for, because they're done hearing stuff, so you would wait until their next hearing cycle opens.
Whoops. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to get for my daughter.
Oh, I have to, there was one that was after the fact, but they were still in their hearing cycle and
And
The
he,
people
you know,
at the
the other
state.
thing thinking about this is, he keeps bringing MBC up. That's not our fault. I
Yeah,
know he keeps throwing that in our
Well,
lap. when he
that's
keeps
why I make
bringing
sure
the
they got the
NBC
letter.
stuff up.
Well, they were online.
I know, but he's throwing it back at us. I mean,
yeah.
he needs to talk to them and straighten that out, not sit here and keep saying, well, you know, you got, you know, this is the story.
You didn't
We
really
didn't write the
understand-
damn
yeah,
story.
Yeah, good point.
No, I get it. Sorry.
I do have
Not
a
to
question.
bash them, but that made me mad.
Just within general, there seems to be a lot of road things, and I think that I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and I feel like this is an issue that's happened as we've had more influx, and people are moving into Forest Service roads and expecting the same level of maintenance. Would that be helpful to do like a countywide story on just like generally, like, guys, you can't, if everyone moves into a county or a Forest Service road, which is only allowed to maintain it to a certain standard that is for recreation or timber.
What
You
you
have
just
to-
said is the truth. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
These people move up in there. And then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
'cause I mean,
non-maintained
like,
county, there's a
yeah.
lot of non-maintained counties that
that hits right
realtors
on
will
the
say
head.
this is a county road, well, it's a non-maintained county
So
road.
just like maybe
so-
a little thing on how to form a citizens alliance or a
That's a
homeowner
good
or
idea.
something, because,
That's
I mean,
good.
I've lived,
Yeah.
5 minutes from the lake my whole life. And it's like, no one ever complained about their road because no one lived on that
Yeah,
road.
homeowners
It was
associ-
summer cabins.
Homeowners associations that go to the Forest Service for permitting.
But it's
That's a-
always been
that's a good
easier
idea.
to pass it on and then,
Yeah.
you know, and then they get all upset with us. And backers saying it's not a road. And
Yeah.
then tell, you can't do nothing on it unless you got $400,000.
Yeah.
How can we?
And if they were to form like a homeowners association, would there be, like if they needed financial assistance for like a big one-time fix or something, would that be something that they could at least approach you guys for a certain amount of funds, or how does that?
Well, they'd have to, yeah, on something like that, I mean, you're gonna have to get it looked at again.
Okay.
I mean, that lap stuff, that all flew out, that wasn't because of us.
That was the feds, yeah, they
They
changed it,
dropped it,
yeah.
and then when they start saying the matching, and that just killed us.
But there is a Georgetown Lake Homeowners Association,
Okay,
there is one for the whole,
yeah,
yeah, for the whole area.
But no, what you're saying, that's the truth.
but yeah, it just seems like it's become an issue in the last few years.
And it shouldn't matter whether it's one dollar or not. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to start that, so. Me, because I don't pay much taxes, on it, so I should get covered out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think we're all trying to live.
Yeah.
that thing, you know, and then you ask them to move, and it's like, you can go outside. You know, kind of mean. I counted the 5 records, really.
You guys made it through it.
Now, but they need to give it, you know, teaching from all that. Now they should be a committee.
Yeah, hopefully it seems like they're sparked to do something, so hopefully they will. That seems like that's the only thing you
Can do.
could do, yeah.
It's like the one guy said, you just don't have time to, well, when we went through the whole thing, he never made comment, and when we shut it down.
It'll be back. It's just beginning.
See, on that, our little structure, there was that flywheel, was that case that broke, you know, station on that. Reading over this stuff. They have a court case that gets all them jurors, and then they settle out of court. How come they don't have to pay for it? Why does the county have to pay for it?
I think it's your
You
right
knew
as,
this was coming.
I know, we were talking about it yesterday. I think it's your right as a citizen to go through that process, right? If you have a disagreement with someone and you sue them, unfortunately, I think the county takes, the brunt end of the stick there, but I think it's your right.
Dan, that he can listen to the recordings. They're all on here.
I referred somebody to that too, and I gave them my card and told them they can email me with questions and I can provide any document.
So what he's saying is, there's nothing in the minutes that we decided that said we're closing for public safety or we're closing because of budget.
It's not closing, no, we're not closing the road, it's just not maintained.
That's what I meant.
Okay, I didn't know.
Garbling my words.
And I told people explicitly, it's like a building thing in the minutes. Like it's kind of like a thing where you'd have to go back and watch the sessions from May of last year to now, because it builds through your sessions when Lakeshore Road comes on, where it's mentioned and it builds, and then you guys do that letter to Cameron in response in January. And then it is last week when you motioned that you're gonna post the signs and stop maintenance.
I'm still shaking.
Shaking.
Maybe I didn't get enough protein this morning.
It's not easy.
So police services. Solar. Sorry, so on that master plan, all those roads, are they all Forest Service roads in that master plan?
See, I gotta look at it. I don't know what we get out. They always say, well, we'll do it.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah, okay.
You know, that's why I want.
Yeah.
So I think it was on the gravel. So shouldn't the match the south? If FMR is $11 a yard, shouldn't we really not down there $11 a yard?
I think Terrios are your lowest down there, aren't they? Or Terrios your lowest bid on the lower side?
So if we accepted the $11, then that's all we're paying, is that what you're saying?
Up here, the low one, they said they do it for the whole 100,000. So if we don't wanna follow all the way to the north,
right,
we wanna get somebody down there.
Yeah.
So they have to match the $11. And not, say we were bid 14. So we just say, okay.
If you do.
We'll get somewhere.
I think so. Do you think so?
I think so.
What was,
I think Terrio was your lowest bid on that side of the county. They were at 13, weren't they?
Yeah, they were 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like county.
Yeah.
That's-
I think that's-
And then see if they'll do it for later. Is that what you're saying?
So these are trucks.
Because of that one you couldn't swear.
Hi. Truck. Did you give me all the gravel bits, or do I only have 2 of them? I only have 2 of the gravel. Oh, they're up there.
Scott?
Oh, or maybe not. Maybe I don't know.
Got 5 minutes. So Benson would be considered that side.
I don't. Where is he? He's. I don't know where his gravel pit is.
Down
Right.
by in Hall somewhere.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't
Maybe
know.
not. I'm not sure.
Here. I always thought it. I mean, I guess I'm thinking of where he lives, but I guess I don't know where it is. Oh, in Phillipsburg. Oh wait, no, never mind. That's not what it says. I don't know. I'm not a good person to ask her to look into it specifically before.
Where's the boys?
Imaginary friend today.
I have a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the claims.
Or not the minutes, claims, sorry.
Second.
Any public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next agenda item is Powell County Commissioner, or no, file letter of transmittal to e-file ODSP and DSSMR for project discussion and decision. Discussion.
No, this is that stuff we talked about. I'll make the motion to go ahead with the transmittals to e-file.
I second.
Any public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried and passed. These are both ones, right?
Yes, for both of them. Take them away. Right there.
Hey, I got a quick question. I know it's kind of jumping back, but there's my squirrels running everywhere. So when they lease that ground from the Forest, Service, they pay the Forest Service for that ground, and that road that comes on. So. I'm trying to figure out how that works, where they pay a lease or rent on Forest Service cattle.
So there must be some agreement between the leasing and the Forest Service for the roof. That's what you're getting.
There's a.
Go ahead, Elena.
Sorry, I just want looking.
Thank you. For that last one that you did, whatever it was, ODSP update. And on the documents for today, there is a lot ODSP update. I guess that's what you were talking about. And then lot DSSMR. And they're both the same letters.
Should be different. I may.
Letter of transmittals to e-file ODSP and DSSMR for Flint Creek project discussion and decision.
There, I just pulled them up online and they are the two separate letters. They do look almost identical because they're just a cover letter. We don't share those reports publicly.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The letters are almost identical. The only difference is one will say ODSP and one will say DSSMR. I just double checked them online. We don't share those reports publicly. We aren't able to. Any documents that we've e-filed to FERC that are available publicly, you can go to FERC and look at.
Oh, I know that. I know you got, everything is on FERC. I'm saying these two that you've agreed to here. The letters look identical. What's the difference between the two?
One says ODSP and one says DSSMR. It's really just kind of a form letter that we attach to each of those reports.
Okay, thank you.
Go to different places.
They are
Same
going to
place.
different places. You're welcome. Okay, so the next agenda item is Powell County Commissioner Ruth Kohler. Thank you. We discussed Tri-County Jail Board operations.
See you again. You too.
Nice to meet you. Chuck, I've heard all about you guys. We've never had.
And you're with the Fair Board?
I sit here so I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Thank
And
you.
Ben was gonna be here and he had to go to something else.
He had to go to Bozeman. Yeah, so that's why he asked.
Blaine's coming down. 'Cause I did,
Want to introduce yourself? sir?
Amanda Weaver.
Okay,
sorry.
thank you, Amanda. We've got a couple minutes. I called you in too early, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I know how that goes, you know, when that clock ticks over.
So looking on the letter of transmittal, middles two different, I think saying, having the same language on each one is fine. So it's just cover letter going to report.
Something we agreed on a while ago, and then we had to just.
Okay, so, well, I guess Blaine can join us if later.
I guess I talked on the phone and that, I was the one that had to come over, because we're trying to figure out really what's going on with the fair board, so everybody's on the same page. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. What's
So I'll
the-
let you. I don't need to.
Excuse me.
No, that's fine.
So if you, so we'll go back to when we had the formal demolition derby accident. And the Mako attorneys at that time said when they wanted us to separate the grounds board, they want a separate grounds board in addition to the fair board. So that was a big fight. Nobody really wanted to do that. Because you know how it goes, you go to the fair board meeting on Thursday, but the grounds board meeting was on Wednesday. So now you have an issue that you need to resolve and you gotta wait until, you know, so nobody really wanted to do that. So what we did was, well, I wasn't a commissioner, I was on the fair board. They made all the Hull County representatives on the fair board, made them the grounds board. Okay, so that they would make any decisions, anything to do with managing the grounds. And then what we would do is we would have the fair board meeting at 7 o'clock. And as soon as that was over, we would have the grounds board meeting and go on with it. But what has kind of happened is everybody that's on the fair board, for the most part, they're concerned about the fair. And that's the only reason that they're there. As long as the grounds is there and in one piece and nothing falls over, they just want to do their fair. And the other thing that's happened in the last couple of years, the fairgrounds has become extremely popular. So from April 1st, the first weekend in April, until the third week of July, we have 2 open weekends. I mean, it's gotten crazy. I mean, people are coming from all over to use the blue ribbon and the facilities and everything. So what we have decided to do is just change things a little bit, and it has really nothing to do with fair board. We have a resolution from 2003, somewhere in there. And we're gonna do a new one. And what we're gonna do is have the grounds board will be the overreaching management of the grounds. And then the fair board will be the fair board. And they'll have complete autonomy for their 1 week of the year. And then the rest of the time, the grounds board will manage the grounds. And that's all that amounts to.
So then what's the happens on this voting thing? I guess that's what I don't understand. So So it'll just be one board take care of everything?
Well, the fair board will manage the fair. They'll have, they're in complete charge of the fair, just like they've always been, nothing will change for them.
And you'll still keep the people that they're on all the fair boards, like you here, there, right? Or are you just gonna have one set of them?
If I get what you're saying is that the fair board has their week
Same people,
for the fairgrounds.
all the same people, 7 from Powell County, 3 from
Except, yeah,
Granite
okay,
County.
That's what, yeah.
And then when the fair isn't going around, you have the grounds
Yes,
group
Will
that takes
manage.
care of that.
and all the events and things like that.
So in the past, did the fair board do that? Like managed everything throughout the entire year, or who did that?
Well, until we actually split it, we didn't have much.
Oh.
There wasn't
It's-
really, there really weren't a lot of other activities. When we split it, they also created this position, which I was the lucky person in that job. Because the grounds board needed their own secretary, and that person was, they called event coordinator. So that was kind of my job. I was fair board secretary for a couple of years, plus grounds secretary, plus event coordinator. So all this has come in the last 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so Blaine, what she's saying is when they have the races and there was the big claim against this, their insurance said split it. You need a grounds and you need a fair.
Yeah.
And so they split it, and then what you're saying is that the fair was part of the grounds. So the fair board was on the grounds board. And
So
so,
Powell County ones.
yeah, and so there's a lot of activity going on, and so what she's saying now is the fair board only has say during the week of the fair. And the other part of the activities going on belongs to the grounds.
So it'd be like a subcommittee, you're saying, or would it be,
Basically.
okay. all right.
Basically,
And so the bylaws need some tweaking and, okay,
and I could have brought a copy of that for you. They're sitting on my counter, because I was gonna take them to the fair board this week. Catherine McHenry
okay.
has gone through them and made her suggested changes for the fair board. And I was gonna give them to you guys.
Maybe, once they get them, they can come meet with me or we can.
Give me your,
set
just
up
give me your email.
Okay,
I'll
all right.
fire them out to you. I
Sorry.
brought, I knew I should have brought.
Oh, here, do you want a sticky?
Yes.
Yeah, because all that does, it changes, just clearly defines things a little bit better.
So the fair board would answer to the grounds committee?
Nope.
Or the
No.
commissioners?
It's still to the commissioners.
Okay.
Yeah.
For that week.
Yep. Well, and hopefully, I would like to get somebody who'd be willing to, one of the fair board people who'd be willing to be on the grounds board. But, whether that happens or not, I'm not sure.
Where before the accident happened, the fair board, which is the Tri-County Fair Board, every board member from each county decided on all events.
Yes, and that was part of the argument that we had at the time, and it's kind of sad, because prior to that accident, we had a great board. Everybody always got along, there was never any issues. And then they wanted to make this change, and people on the fair board, like myself and Mike Applegate, and I were the kind of the leaders of the whole thing. We didn't want to do it, because we valued our other community members' input into that. And they said, no, you can't do that. The grounds has got to be this way and the fair board's got to be this way. And so then there was hurt feelings and.
Talking to the Granite County representatives, they were like, we didn't have anything to do really with that demolition derby. So I
None of
can-
us did.
so, yeah, I can see why it should be bifurcated, because people assume that it was actually the fair board that was putting on that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your interpretation.
Yeah, the Chamber of Commerce has done it for 30 years.
So.
So it wasn't really a fair thing.
Well, it was the
Going on
last day of
during-
the fair and we
yeah,
we
yeah.
got a percentage of the net. You know, so we were hooked.
Yeah.
So
But
the
as far
money-
as, yeah, the planning or whatever, it was all. in the-
It wasn't
Yeah,
on the
it's
fair board.
strictly Chamber of Commerce, and if the chamber had manned up and said, here's our $2 million policy, take it. We maybe could have avoided a lot of it, but they wanted to fight it, so there we were.
Yeah, special event insurance is the key to anything, I think.
Right,
Yeah,
and see,
but-
now we require anything that happens down there, like all these rodeos, the last, just 3 weeks of rodeos, I have liability policies for each one of them, and any of the events, we have Montana Cutting Horse Association coming in a couple of times, and they'll all have their own policy. Now, the tricky part, and I don't know how you get around this, but when we're doing something for the fair, and it's like a vendor coming in, I specifically ask them to put on their policy other insureds, Granite County, Powell County, Tri-County Fair. Do I get that? Mostly not.
I think that has to be, yeah, just
Yeah.
a
You
solid policy, because if you don't have it, they don't do it. 'cause
Well,
it
and
gets a
I
little
tell
too-
them, I tell them, and then the day before the event comes and here comes the policy and it might say whoever on it, you know?
But.
So every
Yeah.
vendor has to have a liability? Like
It
it's
kind
in
of
a-
depends on a little bit of judgment, you know, if they're cooking or they're doing the bounce
Right.
houses or, you know, these horse events, everybody has
Yeah.
everybody has to have a policy. You're selling hand crocheted pot holders? Yeah, no, I don't worry about that.
Well, that's the thing, you're gonna have to
Yeah.
look and see what they're bringing to the table, what's who's doing what, not the ones that
Yeah.
have, the ones that look like they'll be a dangerous
Yeah,
thing.
well, every one of the
Yeah.
food vendors,
We do that up with we have the chapel at the lake and, well, the outdoor chapel. And if people aren't doing wild things, it's, they do a deposit, but if they're having alcohol there or whatever, there's
Oh, yeah.
insurance. So on
oh,
a
yeah.
case by case basis.
Yeah, it's definitely a case by case thing, and it's unfortunately, last year, and it hasn't gotten any better this year. We're in a growing position. But we don't have the money, the resources. What we need is a full-time event planner. And we can't afford to pay anybody, I mean, that's a pretty big dollar job. So I'm still acting as the ground secretary and as the event coordinator, but only now I get to do it for free. So, but you know, there's hope. This is a really good year. We're busy.
Will the structure of the grounds committee change moving forward? Is it still gonna be made up of the Powell County Fair Board members, or
No,
are there
yes,
gonna
no,
be?
it's gonna change.
It's gonna
it's
change,
gonna
how's it gonna change?
We're gonna try to get people on there who are truly interested in the grounds. You know, because a lot of people just aren't, you know. And part of that is that when we redid the budgeting, like we took all of the maintenance type of items off of the fair board's budget and put it on the grounds board's budget. So they don't have to worry about any of that anymore.
So maintenance of the fairgrounds is not the responsibility of the fair board?
Nope. Not anymore.
So we don't have to do any cleanup or anything before? Is that going to be done? Because normally we do a full day of cleanup before
Yeah,
the fair.
well, that's your event, so.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there and put up pens.
Well, no, we would do that. I'm just saying like, we normally do all
Yeah,
the cleanup around the whole area, make sure everything.
So I would say is that tied to the fair itself, you know, just having it nice and neat and.
yeah, and we do the best we can to keep it cleaned up. I mean, it's
Right.
not like in the old days when you had to go in there for a week with a crew, you know,
Right.
now that we're using it all the time, it's kept pretty
So have
nice.
that in the bylaws too, on laying out everyone's duties there.
Right.
Yeah.
So the
know what's
bylaws
expected.
need to be reviewed and changed, or is that
To-
kind of
Yeah, sounds like,
done
yeah.
already?
Yeah, the
It's
county
a work in
attorney
progress.
looked at them and she made some tentative changes to them that I was gonna bring to the board this week.
Gotcha.
And you know, for the most part, it's fine, like you're saying, you know, probably should outline a little bit more
Yeah,
about
get
the
a hold of
duties.
the bylaws and look at them, cause then if
Right.
everything was there, and you guys.
Isn't that-
Right,
Yeah, once you guys review them, they're good, and the commission can look at them too.
so part of my concern would be too, is taking that away is what about like maintaining the barns and things like that?
That's
when-
all ground stuff. I mean, those, you know, that
Right, that's what
facility.
I wanna make sure is
Yeah, well,
that
the
we're-
facility
yep.
belongs to Powell County. People can call it the Tri-County Fairgrounds all day long, but it's not, it's the Powell County Fairgrounds. So we're, you know, they're just, that board is assuming responsibility for all of that. And if you were to look down there today, you would just die. Because there's a huge, it's about a $75,000 Northwest Energy project going on. Because we had a fire last year. Year before that, we blew up a transformer. So,
And and I'm pretty new, but the few meetings that I've been to, it seems like any issues that affect the fair stuff, like the hogwash area and the door to get to the scale easier, that's all talked about, and Ruth is like, we just keep communicating about making sure those things get done.
yeah, we're, you know,
That's,
it's
yeah,
been,
that's a huge thing.
Yeah, and it's been
a
happening,
lot.
from what I've seen, it's been happening,
Yeah, and
the
we,
discussions
well,
keep going.
I'm not getting as much done as I used to do because I'm doing this now.
So, Mike, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but my question would be is, we've always sent $3,000 grant from here to Powell County to help, and now that it's only a week long, is that
I
3,000?
think the 3,000 only went to just to help with the fair, is my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what it went.
Yeah.
So what did it, like what, or what, I don't know how to ask it. What did the $3,000 do for fair? From Granite County?
That'd be up, oh, I thought you were asking, I was gonna say, that'd be up, cause we just give them what they do.
Yeah.
They might put it to.
Well, all of your expenses are running the fair. You've got all those judges,
So that's what it goes towards,
Yeah.
it's just those types of
ribbons,
things.
you know, not the plaques, they get sponsors for that stuff, but
I'm still learning what the fair board pays for versus the councils
I don't
and
think
the
there's a-
clubs and,
I don't think there's ever been a breakdown on it, cause it's just that one time they had nothing, and so they just take a little bit to help here and there.
Yeah.
and now do we still
Yeah.
see contributions from Deer Lodge County or no?
well, they don't want anything to do with us after the
Right.
wreck.
But they still participate at fairs.
They still participate, but they give their money to their 4-H council.
Oh, so it's
And then
just
they give it to
shifted
us.
through a
It gets
different way,
shifted around.
okay.
Yeah.
So they're still contributing then.
Right.
Their own
Because of-
insurance company fought with them. Now they had to sue them, I think.
I think that
Oh,
way
it was-
then they don't have to.
Yeah, and see, the problem was, we were both insured by Mako,
Yeah.
and they covered us. They were insured by the
They're-
Montana League of Cities, and
MMA,
they would not cover them.
which is bogus. I mean,
Yeah.
But at least they're still contributing
Oh, yeah, they still contribute,
to
sure.
be able to
Yeah.
attend and partake.
So I guess it's just back to looking at the bylaws and you guys looking over, looking for and bring them to us, cause you're the ones that are gonna be involved.
Yeah, sure, it's the
I'm
bylaws.
not trying to pass the buck, but that's.
And we'll get,
No,
those-
I completely understand, like, I think it's just as much on the leaders and the council members to look at it too, to make sure that everything is up to par.
and you'll provide them to, you're gonna email them to him, but
I'll
you're
send
also
them.
gonna
Yeah.
bring them to the fair board meeting, right?
You might want.
And then we can-
Just make sure. Who's the third member of the Granite County representative?
So it's me, Dara, and Eve, and Katie at the moment.
No,
Did Katie resign?
no, it's Eve, you, and Katie.
Oh, yeah.
Dara's
Dara's
at
a member.
large.
See, and I'm told, okay, so
I
explain
think
that to me. She
that's
is,
how that goes.
she is, but I was told she's equal. The three of us are appointed. Dara's the member at large. I was told she functions exactly the same as
Well, and that's,
the appointed ones.
there's sort
You
of
got
an
it?
issue with, for me, on this thing, because when when Deer Lodge County said, yeah, we're out of here, they pulled all their board members. And we were just stunned, you know, what are we gonna do? Now we're short 3 people. and one of whom was the chairman. So Mr. Mannix at the time said, appoint 3 members at large. So that's what we did. The fair board appoints those 3 members.
Dara's
Dara's a member at large. There's one from Deer Lodge County. I'm not sure. There's one from Powell County, actually.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty good.
Yep.
But in this change to bylaws, it says that they are voting members, but they can't hold office. And I don't know why.
Well, I thought that was due to the fact when they talked about that, because they wanted to keep it 3, so they didn't have 4 and 3's vote. Something said, you know. what I'm
Wasn't
saying?
the at large to help Anaconda Deer
Yes.
Lodge as well?
Yes,
So that, yeah.
to give
since
them
they-
a, like a
yeah.
chair.
Yeah,
Like
well,
the place
because
to sit at the table.
Carolyn Pashow primarily,
Yeah.
she's
Oh,
been
yeah.
on the board for 20
And
some odd
she's
years.
currently an officer, so if the
Yeah.
bylaws change, that's a problem.
Yeah, but I don't understand. I mean, if everybody can vote,
Then why
and,
can't they
you know, and
vote?
you know, you hear these things over the years, you know, that people repeat to you like it's gospel. But then when you look it up, it's maybe not necessarily true. Because I was always under the impression that only the Powell County members could hold office, but that's not true.
It is true for the president. I found it. It's in there.
Yeah, but it's not in the bylaws.
Whatever was given to me, I found it in there and I think it
may
was
have
the
been an
bylaws.
Old thing, because the ones that were adopted in whenever, 2003 or something, don't even address that.
Well, there's something that make sure you look into too.
Yeah, well, another reason why you're
Yes.
in the bylaws, so that's clear now, yeah.
Somebody gave them to me and I found it in there, because remember I had asked at the meeting, who could hold offices? Does it just Powell County? Because I had heard the rumor. And you're like, no, that's not true. Well, luckily our chair is from Powell County, but when somebody sent me the bylaws, it's in there that only the president or the chair can only be from Powell County.
Yeah.
So the
and
bylaws should address this though,
That's
right?
not in the one that I have.
Okay, so maybe I got an old one.
Yeah, because the last one that we have is, I don't know. It was a few years ago. Mike was the chair. But I still don't understand why, if you can vote, I can't vote the chair.
So does it need
Yeah.
to be addressed one way or the other? They either don't vote or they can vote and hold an office. What are the commissioner? I mean, that's I need to understand too, like, is there a difference between the appointed fair board members versus the members at large?
See, and I think that's kind of where Catherine was going with it, but I'm still,
I think everyone, officer should be able to have a vote, but
I think
I guess we'll see what the.
well, what's the point if they don't?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would they sit at the table?
Yeah.
No, I mean, but it says, you know, everybody can vote, it's just that those at-large people can't hold office, and I don't understand that, so.
Something I have to look into and then get it out.
Why
Is there a
they're at-large?
preference? Is there a preference from the commissioners on, you know, whether they hold an office or only vote?
To me, there's not, it's just the idea to make sure it's all done in bylaws by the right way, so we don't get into a big old, well, you said, he said.
That was probably something just guessing something Powell County wanted, but at the time, I don't know.
Well, this is in this update, something that Catherine put in there, and we kind of talked about it just briefly. And then it showed up. Oh, you know what? I can email you that, it's on my phone. To everybody.
So ability to vote versus just and hold an office.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
you,
think that's where some of the conflict from is, because they want to vote, and if they can't, you know, that's. what I'm
and the
looking
way it
at.
is now, they're voting.
Yeah, they're
And
voting.
Carolyn is a member at large from Deer Lodge County and she's the vice chair.
That's the way I would think it should be.
Let them do both.
Otherwise, you're gonna lose. I mean, why do they do it?
Well, you get someone good on there
Right.
at large and you want them there, so.
Right. So allow both. We just need to make sure it's in the bylaws that way.
That's my.
Right. Well, it'll come to you too, so we'll just make sure we get with you.
Yeah.
Whoops, that wasn't right. Good on our discussion. Is there any public comment on this discussion?
I think we've came a long way, so getting a lot of stuff that this is one of these things that we need to sit down now and just have. a
Well,
little-
yeah, it's just time. That's why I decided I was just gonna
It's
drive
just
over
better,
there.
cause
Yeah.
I mean, like when she was trying to explain on the phone, I'm talking, yeah.
Work, sitting down, working together, gets it done for the kids, and that's what it's about.
Do both counties have to do a resolution or just Powell County?
I would assume just Powell County. I've never, well, I don't know, I've never seen
We've
it.
just done I think the sign off on the bylaws, what I'd like to see.
Okay. And that's by the 2 counties or all 3? That would
And
be
the
all
con-
3
and the
if the
con-
members at large are
No.
come from.
And the Conjure Lodges is
Just two.
part of it,
Okay.
yeah,
Just the two.
yeah. So, it's still called Tri-County Fair because they have the. they're just-
Dual county fair.
They're giving their money to the 4-H and the 4-H gives them around, so that's. what
Well,
they
and there
want.
was I about had a panic attack when that happened. You know, like, now what? We have to change the name, you know, and I mean, and all the paperwork and the web pages and.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrible to change.
Yeah,
the
it would
name.
be
We're
terrible.
known.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Okay, I sent that to you.
Go through the bylaws and
Okay.
figure it out and
Thanks.
make it work. I mean, we're all agreeing. I mean, it's about the kids and stuff. It's, you know,
Right.
I mean, we just gotta make sure everything's.
Yeah, and it, you know, and like I say, you know, if it hadn't been for Mako saying, you know, you gotta do this.
And I agree that the maintenance thing is a huge part of it, but from what I've seen, the fair board and the commissioners with Ruth being there at almost every meeting, you've been there, and the discussions continue to happen.
Well, and part of what's happened, I mean, in all honesty, the fair board never had any money. Period. The MCA says that, or at least it used to say, because if you've ever looked, if you look under in the MCA for the fair boards, they like did away with it all a few years ago. It's all blank. There's not much there. But the whole thing was that the county is supposed to give fair board 2 mills. Well, back in the day, when it was, a mill was $12,000 or $15,000. I mean, I would read it to say, you know, if they're gonna give the fair board 2 mills, that money would be used to run the fair. But in Powell County, we're poor. That was the money that went to the fairgrounds, period. And you had to run the fair, maintain the fairgrounds. And when your dang power bill, annual power bill was $17,000, it didn't leave a lot. So consequently, maintenance just didn't get done. Just didn't happen. Now we're in a little better financial position. Now a mill is $24,000. And that blue ribbon brings in money.
Right.
I mean, we're making, I don't know, well, I don't know, $2,500 a weekend on that rodeo. So it's just nice to have that extra.
It's just, there's a lot of changes in the last few years with so many events there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big.
Well, and you know, you were at the fair last year, you saw the power line burst into flames.
Right.
Was there insurance for that?
Well, no, unfortunately, they ran out and put it out. Yeah. No, it didn't do any damage. It was over the top of the exhibit building where it's a metal roof. And it just burst into flames and started dripping on the top of the roof, but the year before, they blew up a transformer.
Don't they pay for that stuff?
Huh?
Can't you make them pay for that? Isn't it done there?
Well, here's the problem. The campground and all of that stuff was put in there years and years and years ago when they had the Lineman's Rodeo there. Northwestern Energy came and put it all in. There's 200 amps coming into the campground and there's 22 campsites. Well, when my kids were in 4-H, we had a big horse trailer with a gooseneck. They slept in there. Thought they were really uptown. You know, you look at these things that are coming in there now, you know, and I mean.
And we had to sleep in a tin.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know,
Sleep, I expect.
we had some go-arounds with some of those folks trying to tell them, you've got to turn those air conditioners off. And yeah, it was hot. But Northwestern Energy's calling me saying, this meter's melting. You better do something. And we didn't get to it quite in time, so we ended up actually melted 3 meters
Just make sure Ben gets this stuff too.
Yep, I talked to him this morning.
Yeah, he's been real good about coming to the meetings and stuff too.
Is that it?
That's all
Good.
right.
Good discussion.
You know where the, you know the phone number. Call us anytime you have a question.
Okay.
It's a lot easier for us to communicate directly than.
I think so.
But Katie is still, she's still on the board, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
she has not officially
Okay,
resigned.
good.
She hasn't been to
What
the last
email
few
is out?
meetings.
No, Katie's had her
Yeah.
plate's been a little full. She'll
Yeah.
be fine.
All right, I'll include her in the email.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm glad to see a fair board member coming out and doing this.
Thanks for Ben. Since he couldn't be here, he asked one of us to
All
come.
right, thanks for
Thank you
coming.
guys.
Yeah, thank you all.
Nice to meet you.
We'll be talking again.
Okay, see ya, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah. Okay, 11:30, our next agenda item is the DEQ open cut mining zoning compliance for F&R LLC, discussion and decision. Since, they're making their gravel pit bigger.
Yeah, they want to expand their gravel pit by 14 acres. And
Better
all,
state your names.
oh, sorry, I'm Jeremy Mickey with P3M. I'm doing the permitting for Tommy and Betty. So, yeah, they want to expand the gravel pit by 14 acres. And this is just one of the checklists that the DEQ has to confirm whether it interferes with any zoning that we have out there. It's never interfered with it in the past because there's no zoning. So.
So we just need to make a motion. to sign this.
Is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to go ahead with it.
I'll second.
Any public comment? Things none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there you go. So this is,
That's the form.
do we, the boxes aren't,
Do you want to show them what
Yep.
you need on there? That would
Here's
be
what
the
you need on
best.
there. This just confirms that it came with maps. You guys have any maps?
so we want to check yes here.
Yep.
And site is not zoned,
Yep.
and then Granite County. And official name, would it be me?
Yes, because
You're the chair, yeah.
Yeah.
Cliff signed it last time. So he's the chair that last time. we did it was
And-
13.
Signature. Today's date is 4/9/2024. That's it.
That's all. You want me to
There's
have
your
these
copy
next
and
door?
your copy. and
Yeah.
your-
I'll make you guys a copy and bring you a copy back.
He needs to bring coffee.
I'll bring you a copy.
Okay, well, we can we do a copy?
I don't have a copy machine. I
I
use
know
the one
that-
in there.
Oh, you're, okay,
Yeah.
Next door, but-
tell her no charge.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
We've got 15 minutes before our next agenda item. Let's take a
Rick?
recess for 15 minutes.
What's
It's 11:45. And the next agenda item is contract with TCS Northwest for the courthouse elevator and ADA project. So, state your name and
I'm Brooke Covington. I'm the Assistant Project Manager for TCS Northwest.
Michael Cleveland, I'm General Manager, TCS Northwest.
And
I guess the whole thing was just meet you and kind of see what the feelings are. And go from there, kind of give us
Idea of what's gonna happen with it?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the whole thing was, and then like a couple of them rooms down there, you know, we're gonna start moving that, or they started. We just all gotta work together or some of that.
Right. So, we've only spoke briefly with the elevator company, but it looks like it's gonna be about a 10-month process on the elevator. So 6 months of that's just waiting on the elevator to get built from the manufacturer, and then it's another 4 months for them to install it. Which would seem like a really long time frame for the install piece of it. But that's what they're telling me right now, and I think that's what Scott kind of based the timeline of the contract on. We're hoping to get done a lot quicker than that. But we'll just kind of have to see once we sign a contract with them how long it's gonna actually take to get that elevated. As far as the construction, the plan is to kind of, we don't want to leave you guys without a bathroom, at least one bathroom on each floor. So my thought is we'll probably start by remodeling the men's bathroom, the judge's bathroom, and that storage room on the next floor. And get those all basically finished and ready to use. And that would leave the women's bathroom at least to have a toilet on that floor for the public to use. And we can kind of section ourselves off in that area and hopefully keep all the dust and everything to a minimum down there. And then we'd move probably upstairs into the jury room and get that bathroom upstairs, all the framing done. And then we'd focus on the corridor for the elevator last, since the elevator is going to come in towards the end of the project. But the remodels of the bathrooms and everything, we were talking probably 3 months, 3 or 4 months. So they might actually be done and everything prepped for the elevator before we get the elevator. But the goal is to get as much done as possible, as soon as possible, so you guys can have use of those facilities while we're waiting.
When was your thought of start?
We can pretty much start whenever you guys are ready. We'll need to get the contract signed, and then there'll be a little coordination with the elevator company and some procurement. And as soon as we get materials and everything kind of lined up, we'll start tearing and stuff. As long as that works with you guys, of course. It's gonna have to work around your schedule.
Soon get going on as soon as we can, like you said, at least have all that done out of the way, and then they can still use the bathrooms and the elevator comes and just come straight on that.
Right. Yep. It'd be nice to get through the roof also, because there is a penetration on the roof we have to make, but we'll go ahead and build the penthouse for the elevator and then just leave the roof removable. And then when the elevator gets here, they'll lower all the equipment down through the elevator shaft. Start building in the basement and then work the way back.
Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great project. I thought lost it. Oh, how we coordinate, is there gonna be court held, and do we need to, not be noisy during court hours?
I think that was Carol had some concern on one thing, but wasn't that this next week though?
We can get a court schedule and kind of, I guess, coordinate with the district court to see what they have going on with you, so everyone's on the same page.
Okay. Yeah, that was my only real concern, and the elevator people brought that up, just to make sure if they need to shut down, for a day or something, we have some.
I think maybe,
advanced schedule.
yeah.
Well,
First
in
of all,
10
say-
months will be a court case. I would think. There'll be more than one court case in 10 months if the elevator people don't get here for.
I think he's kind of meaning, no, he's just waiting to see when it's done and when they start setting, if they can just keep going on it, so. They might, maybe, I don't know if they can move the court thing from here to somewhere, just in case we're setting this elevator in and. They all come with that crane, or whatever, they're coming with, so you're not sitting there on that money.
Right. Yeah, it'd just be nice if we had kind of an idea on when court is, and we'll try and work around just not be here and not have a bunch of equipment in the way.
So one thing you could speak with the clerk of court, and she probably has a docket of when court dates are gonna happen, and I think it's probably, and that's in the clerk of court. Carol Bornson is the clerk of court, and that's just upstairs.
Yeah, so we'll rough out a schedule, here in the next couple of weeks of kind of how we're gonna phase it and how we think it's gonna happen. And then we can take a look, we'll talk to her before we put that schedule together, if we need to just block out some time, we can do that.
We was kind of talking at one time that if they had to work after hours or something, that we was gonna let them too. So I guess we better make sure that's still good, cause you say there's some that when you had a rocket, I'm just throwing this, that you had break stuff that's noisy, come in after everybody's gone.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't have a problem doing that, we'll just need to coordinate access to the building.
I remember talking about that.
So I don't have a finalized version of the contract. You just, Scott Cromwell needs your guys' liability insurance information. You can fill it in, but commission could still approve the contract and it'd be signed later. That's acceptable.
Hey, Dan, are we, our discussion, any questions? The motion for signing the contract with TCS Northwest?
Can I talk about one thing
Okay,
before we start? I don't know if you saw the emails regarding that risk liability insurance. That so the agreement calls for the county having that, and it'd be $4,235 for that premium. That's what it is. So that would be they have their liability insurance policy, but then we'd have that added policy just for
Well, I think we
risk
talked
liability.
about that, just to make sure that everybody.
I think it's good. Yeah, it's covered.
I think I have the original, right?
Yeah, they're
Well,
just printed. It's
Those
just a
still
draft.
just drafts, but Scott Cromwell
Okay.
has to fill in their liability insurance information. In the
So we're not
line.
signing anything today.
We're
Correct.
just gonna move on with
Okay.
a motion to accept.
But you're good with that risk liability insurance and.
I think we have to have it.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and accept TCS Northwest for the courthouse elevator and 88 project.
I second it.
Is there any public comment? Elena, go ahead.
Thank you. Elena Gagliano for the record. I think I heard you said that the work is going to be done during the business hours. And you worried about the court if that was in session. What about everybody else that works upstairs and throughout the building? And any of people that have to come and go up there? I understand work like this is noisy, depending on what you're going to find in the walls and stuff. Maybe messy. So how is that going to be taken into account?
Elena, we just discussed that a couple minutes ago, and they're going to go and visit with the clerk of court to see what's on the docket and work around it. That
I
was,
mentioned, I'm sorry, I'm not only talking about the court. I said there was discussion about the court if it's in session. I'm talking about everybody else that works up there, like the planning board, like the people in the district court, like Blaine's office, and anybody else that comes into the building and has to talk to somebody on that law. What about them? And one other thing for the record, it's an historical building. I don't know if those 25 pages covers anything about the historical aspects of that building. I didn't read the 25 pages, I'm sorry. But that's what I'm saying. Everybody else that's working in that building. I know they did something in Broadwater County, but they had an annex building where people continue to work in the courthouse. And then when it was done, the annex building, then they moved their stuff into there. I believe that's what happened. Okay, this is the first time I've seen an actual courthouse on the historical register. The only one that we have is going to be worked on. Thank you.
thank you, Elena.
One response to that is that Linda Bach is here. She will potentially do some work from her home office when it's to that point. I don't see any issues with the county attorney's office. I mean, we understand there's some days it's gonna be loud, but gotta work around it. The courts will be flexible. Some things will have to be by Zoom.
Yeah, Blaine, just before you come in, we were talking about that, you know, like some of that where they might have to break stuff and that. We mentioned when to work after hours, so I mean, we've gone over this whole thing. I think everybody knows that there's gonna be problems, yes.
Yeah. Communication, we work it out. The issue with the historic preservation, my understanding is that's gone through the state historic preservation folks and it's all good. ADA trumps historic preservation, so is my legal opinion, and it's clearly the law. So there's some hoops we have to jump through, but the ADA trumps.
And that's why we have Scott Crumwell doing this stuff, so we have it all.
That's all in line, is my understanding.
And plus, we've had several meetings on this, and we've had all the offices from upstairs sitting in on the meetings, which includes the clerk of court, the county planner, the county attorney. Does that answer your question, Elena?
Oh, she has her hand up. We can under it.
Thank you. The reason why I'm back is because you asked me if it answers my question. I know the ADL trumps everything, and I believe the county has been working on that aspect about the elevator for years, when Mike Cahill was involved with it. And there was in discussion about it being on the outside of the building, and there would be rooms that would be changed, so it wouldn't have to affect much work done within the building. But that went down the tubes. So I'm fully aware of this. It goes back years and years and years. I thought that was a better idea than this. So I'm still saying, I think that it's going to still be noisy. Any kind of construction is noisy. And what about the people? The residents who have business at the courthouse? What if one of them trips? I'm sure your insurance will cover that. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena.
Well, hopefully there are not tripping hazards, but, so we'll work on that. Well, there's the added insurance, there'll be some noise, but business will continue on.
Yeah, from a construction perspective, everything's gonna be barricaded off from the public. So if we're working, and we're gonna work in one area at a time. So we'll isolate the construction from the people, because we don't want people, just wandering through our construction area. So there'll be very little interaction with the public.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think also that on the outside of the building, I think that was gonna be astronomical, wasn't it? Or
Well,
was that
last
one
day
issue?
it was gonna be more of a. Yeah.
It'd be,
Trying to take down past the foundation.
not possible.
It was all checked, we went through everything.
Okay, if that ends the discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried and passed.
And get the stuff to them and then we'll sign it.
Okay. Yep.
He'll, get him liability insurance, everybody sends us the agreement, and have Blanche sign it. And good.
Sounds great. We can get it off them today. It's just a phone call. So.
I have one question. What is the best way to contact Janine or to keep Janine in the loop?
She's right here.
Okay. Oh, hi. Do you prefer email or phone?
Phone.
Phone, okay.
Yes, and also point of contact for any construction needs or discussions. Do we need to go directly to the council or?
I'd say Billy and Janine myself, but it's up to the commission.
Okay. I mean, generally we'll go through Scott and he'll distribute it, but for day-to-day stuff, it's nice to have point of contact.
Something comes up like that, we can all, say, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Billy's our point of contact at courthouse.
Okay.
Do you have Janine's phone number? Or need to-
No, what is Janine's phone number?
406
Okay.
396 3596.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you, guys, for coming in.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I'll give you mine with my phone for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
kind
Janine, it's Norman, you wanna come on up? Our next agenda item is courthouse custodian Janine Bonnie with an update.
What's that? They want my email. Okay. Jay Bonnie.
It's good thing I went home and got my hearing aid battery.
What?
You shouldn't do that. That's derogatory. Okay,
I put mine in and it's, I gotta get.
okay, Janina's with us and she has an update for the courthouse.
Them cracks that we've got going on, like in the courtroom and in Carol's office. It's all the way up in the map room on one side as well now. And it's in Sarah's office now too. And it's just getting worse. I
Is
measured
it
them.
plaster or is
Yeah,
it
it's
just
plaster
plaster
cracking.
again?
Yeah, the courtroom's really getting bad. It's came all the way down the wall. Now it's going down on the lower part below the chair rail.
Same place as it was before where we
Yeah.
had them fix it. and it-
But I don't think they did
Remember, it
some
only lasted
fix some-
couple, like 6 months and it cracked.
I don't recall them fixing the courtroom or Carol's office at all, but there is some plaster like stuff up in the map room.
Courtroom was right above right against this wall over there.
That's not the same one.
So now it's back in where the.
Yeah.
we-
Where that door is that goes into their office to the courtroom.
They were talking at that one time that they're gonna sand it out and look in there to see what, and then they thought maybe they could paste it or not paste it. There was something they were gonna talk.
Well, I think it has to do with the foundation, because this whole side of the building's kind of going off. When I go out here to shovel, I used to be able to shovel just straight. Now I get seams on the sidewalk for that, so things are flipping or changing or moving. And then also that flower bed that's out there, it's hooked to the building. It's totally not hooked to the building anymore.
Didn't Scott Cromwell, did he go look, or?
I don't know. He was out there.
Oh,
Because he said something about the parking lot being over there and they're gonna make it different when this elevator thing goes through. So I don't know if their plan is to try and fix all that or.
Or some of that where there was that old cement was underneath, and only come out halfway and the big heavier trucks were driving over. And that's what broke that sidewalk too. I remember talking about that.
The sidewalk.
There was that cement underneath for the foundation, and it shifted.
Oh, that. I remember the wall falling over, but not anything on the foundation.
Remember that. First, you just have to look and see what, have him look at it. I thought he was going to.
I thought he looked at it and said it was not a huge issue, but,
Who?
Scott Cromwell,
Oh,
but maybe we need to double check on that.
We'll get hold of him, maybe.
Yeah, because there's a big hole over here on this one side in the grass. And I've put dirt in and it just keeps going away. I don't know where it's going. And the same in the flower bed, you can
It's in the
see
county.
where the cement, where there's a big dent.
It's not in the alleyway, it's in the county.
It's in the county and next to the building, right next to the building.
so one thing on plaster repair, that's a dying trade. But I know they do those little divot things in there and
I've watched the videos on it.
I know they talked about it when we had to do one side, because that was cracked before too, because
Well, we had water damage on the one side of that end of the courthouse. And they fixed that.
but they shoot it right into the plaster.
Oh.
It's kind of like a piece of drywall, they stick to it and then they plaster over it, just kind of what
I
it is.
just have to look what.
Yeah.
If y'all wanna take a walk, I can show you what's going on. That's pretty much what I've got going on down is of that. And the map room, for that, we started rolling all those maps up and trying to get some organization to them. Linda was helping us. And that person that was in doing some community service was doing a really good job and had it all kind of organized, so it's getting organized. And I was wondering if we could possibly hire him for a bit to get that done, let him finish it up. Because he knows the ropes of what it all is, because he talked to Linda about it.
I would, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to get it done. I don't know who it is, what, but he knows what he's doing.
Well, it was the person that had to do some community service and he came in and did some other stuff, help us move some stuff too. And then I went up and showed him the map room and he says, well, I can start on this and get it all organized basically, because there's books everywhere.
So
Boxes
those
of
are
books and
Linda's,
stuff.
Linda's.
Well, the maps are some that were down at Mike's.
I know it, but
box.
Linda is the one that kind of took them all under her wing and started organizing them.
Right.
She was the one that moved them all up
So
there.
it'd be more to her to say, yeah, well, because.
Say that again.
Is that what you're saying, that there's, Linda should say yes to do it?
Yeah, it would be coming out of her budget. She'd be the one, because basically what happened when all these maps came out of Mike's office and maps came out of the clerk recorder's office, and Linda wanted them and she moved them all up into that one room up here and was gonna organize them on her free time.
Well, if this guy can do it for community service, why don't we do it?
But
Well,
I think she's
no,
talking
He's
about
done with
temporary,
he's done with his
yeah.
community service.
temporary
But he would
employment.
be willing to
employees.
come in and get paid to do it. You know, I mean, because we're gonna have to get someone to come and help get all this stuff moved eventually anyway. So we got that whole bookshelf we're gonna have to move by the judge's office, I mean, that whole thing's gonna have to go.
Yeah.
I have ideas about to do upstairs as far as all these books, because we got oodles of crap to move up there. And if we get that room organized, then we have a spot for it.
How long would it take?
Well, it depends. I mean, we're gonna be moving stuff until they're done with the elevator, depending on where they start. And that's the only room we have for storage, basically, is that room. And we need to get it organized for storage, because those maps are everywhere. They're all over.
But yeah,
That's
she
why I
had free
want you
reign
guys
of
to
that
see.
room. That's why they're all over the place, because she had free reign
Right.
of that room.
Well, she had them in stacks of different things, and she had them, you know, stuff written down on them and labels, you know, so that's what we were doing, is labeling them and putting them in boxes, rolling them up again.
Well, that would be something that, I guess, right now, it's not, it's something that we'd have to look into her budget. She'd be the one that would have to approve it, and we'd have to get an idea of just the time frame and how long it's gonna take, because it would come out of her budget,
Okay.
But on
because of
that,
her maps.
on that other stuff, like them other rooms, and all that'd be our problem.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna need help to do it, if we got somebody that can do it, that I think we should hire.
David's
Somebody
not
go on
always gonna be
payroll.
available.
Well, you'd have to tell, how else would he? I mean,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
well, that's
saying.
what you
You
said.
talking about a temporary employee or a?
Very temporary.
Yeah.
employee.
Or call in and, you know, like, come in twice a week or something while we're doing this, all this, so that we can stay
so-
ahead of the
So
construction.
we'd have to look into, when's construction? When are we starting? When,
As soon as we,
before the new budget year?
yes.
Okay, so we have to look and see what's left in the janitor's budget for relief, to see if whether or not what we have in
Would it be
there,
under
to be able to hire somebody to help.
I
Yeah,
can't think it was courthouse. I
it just
thought it would come out of the courthouse.
Out of the building fund.
come out of what?
The courthouse,
It is the courthouse, county building.
yeah, that's right. When you said, oh, it come out of the janitors.
Out of my
She's the
budget
county
relief.
building. Her budget's in the county building.
That's what I was. Relax, I'm just asking.
Don't start.
I wasn't sure about it
So,
either. I was confused as well.
You'd want it on your agenda then on a temporary employee.
We don't have to do competitive.
So we
hiring
need that what,
process for that.
ASAP, so maybe next week we'll
Okay.
kind of look at budgets.
Did you ever figure out if we'll have any tilt money left?
I haven't even looked, I haven't had a chance, sorry, my bad, I will look.
Do you want me to schedule you guys time to dig into that and just next week maybe? Like just time to look at your budgets for like elevator and
What's it
this
built?
and
Well, for the extra help that you're gonna need for getting this ready for the elevator.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can look at,
I'll do a little work session.
How much we have. Okay.
And that's pretty much all I've got on that one right there. You know, and then y'all know about the wall that's going bad all the way around that front, so we talked about that as well. That's pretty much it. And then, with the LATF or whatever money, I have some guy coming, he was supposed to have had me a bid for underground sprinkling system on Friday, but he hasn't arrived with it yet. So how many bids do I need is what I'm wondering. Does it depend on what the cost of it is? Like, after so much, don't I have to have 3 bids or whatever it is?
Well, it's,
Over so much, you have to have
it's,
3 bids?
you're not talking over 80 is where it's required to go public bidding, but
Okay,
it's generally 3 unless waived.
but we gotta prove it to get it done.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm
I
talking
said
about.
we
And
have
so-
to prove it to get it done. It's
Y'all want
not-
me to still get 3 bids then? For it?
I think
Yeah.
It's like this guy that I talked to, he's gonna do some up at Whiskey Flats. Leave him at to my yard as well, and he's just gonna inherit it. So, when he did come and look at it, he quoted me like price of like 52 to 54.
So and that's just the front or is that all around?
It's, the front mainly, and then out by the street, you know, that area
Yeah.
between the sidewalk and the street, that grassy area there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I really think we should have a sprinkling system there a long time ago. So the hose running all night long.
If it waters it too much, that wall might blow over.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, he didn't give me that. So I'll get in touch with some others, and get them to give me a bid as well, then. But like this guy, he was gonna start on the one at Whiskey Flats this month. So, and that's what he was telling me, I get yours this month too, and whatever he gave me a quote for my place, so.
Okay, so the cracks, the foundation,
We'll have Scott look at it.
yeah. Yeah, we want a professional to say whether or not.
Well, I really would like you guys to go up and look at that map room though, because I have some ideas about everything to be stored up there that we need to move. Like the books that are right there by where the elevator is gonna come out to the stairs that go up. That area right there is too small. We have to move that one section of bookcase.
So a lot
And all
of those
those
books are
books.
county attorney books, little old law books that are in there.
There's a gazillion of
Yeah.
upstairs too.
Yeah, they could go upstairs.
Montana
go
Code, yeah,
upstairs.
those boxes.
Yeah, I do it all on computer now,
Yeah.
so. The, one thought on the plaster is having, when TCS is here, they might have
Yeah.
guys that could do that too. But,
Yeah, because I can't see ripping the whole wall down, and putting new sheet rock in. That
Yeah.
would be
well, I think they'd be the ones to. be
where
able
they
to-
can.
since
put
already
little
here,
codes in.
yeah.
Yeah, something, you know,
Yeah.
but we
It's like.
we
little-
gotta get whatever's making it to that fixed as well, because it's just gonna keep going.
Yeah, I think the
Because it's
cracks,
moved a quarter of an inch, a 16th of an inch in 2 years, because I measured it
Yeah.
back in 22 when I first noticed it. And then I measured it again this morning.
so
Have Scott.
cracks can be repaired.
The one in Carol's office, the one in the courtroom has gotten way
But
worse.
she's saying if there's some type of foundation issue,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure Scott looked at that and said it's not huge,
Yeah.
but you
Well,
know,
cracks
yeah.
in plaster doesn't mean a bad foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say
Wanna
what's
make sure
causing
that-
it. You know, because it's starting at the top and coming down.
Okay.
Just the ancient age of the building, maybe, I don't know, falling apart at the seams.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so.
We have a closed session coming
Oh,
up.
sorry.
So.
How's it going?
Let's go.
But,
You know, stuff I can fit in.
We'll just have one, two.
No, I said is it on it?
You don't have to be so rude about it.
Do you guys just need to like say something to them or what?
No.
They're here for
Oh,
coastal code.
Okay,
okay.
our next agenda item is a closed session. It's a personnel matter. We have the employee here. Okay.
The closed session is?
The employee has requested it be closed. So we're going off Zoom and the door will be shut.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. Gotta love running a jail.
You guys were very helpful yesterday. Thank you for that.
Brian, you can come up here.
People hearing sirens all day and night, you guys are busy.
They brought all my shares down.
Oh, the
I really,
prisoners, yeah.
I really appreciated that.
There was a lot of stuff to pack for crying out loud.
There's a lot of stuff.
These are not made to sit on.
Okay, so it is close enough. That clock is. Our next agenda item is Granite County Medical Center, CEO Brian Huso.
Yeah, you're so close enough.
With a financial update and then a working relationship with Coast to Coast EMS Services.
Well, I didn't bring a lot for the financial update, but it's been, we started off the year, I don't know how many of you remember, June 30th of 23. So the ended the year $1.4 million in the hole. And as of the end of February, the March financials will be done the end of this week. We're at 992,000 in the black. We expect to be almost $1.5 million in the black by the end of June. So it's been a good year. Cash balance as of 4/4, $372,000 in the bank. Any other questions or?
How did you flip that around that quick? Just ask.
No, it's.
Aren't you the sheriff?
We held it a bank.
Maybe I should stop.
No, a lot of it was, everybody knew what needed to be done. The swing beds are the lifeblood of the facility. And everybody knew that, but nobody did anything. And I just took the bull by the horns and just said, let's do it. And so we started remodeling rooms, and everybody before was just hunkering down, not spending any money. And I got in there and started doing things and changing things. And it's made the difference. So we're averaging about 2 to 3 swing beds a month, which is our lifeblood. And then the new DON, Matt Gold, is just doing a fabulous job getting the ER, raising clinical level there. We're looking at establishing a trauma level 4. That'll be done by this year. We've got a commitment to that. So just getting things done.
Thinking of the levy, I'm trying to think of that 2025 or 2026.
25.
Okay, so it's.
So that's still important. You know, people see that we got a positive cash flow and they think, well, you don't need the levy. We still don't have any reserves. This is the first good year in 5 years. I've gone back and tracked. And every year of those 5, except for one where they got a huge amount of COVID money, there were millions of dollars in the hole every year. And so even though it's a good year, we still have to have good years to build our reserve. Days cash on hand is critical for hospitals.
So that levy was just what, 1 year, or did we do 2 years?
It was multiple.
3 years?
It was 3 years, I think.
3 years? Okay, so it's not up until
2025, but it should be, yeah, looking at that for by this fall, for like in the spring.
Yeah.
You okay with?
I mean, I'll answer any questions that you have, but I didn't. And our financials are on the website every month. They're posted, so directly from the board meeting. So
You're looking at me like I could get on there and get.
well, I mean,
What the hell? Come
you were
on.
looking at me, so I looked at that.
Someone help you.
Somebody needs to.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah. So I want you guys to feel comfortable that facilities head in the right direction, and we're constantly upgrading and pushing to expand the services to the people of Grand County.
What's a trauma 4 bringing?
It'll bring in a little bit more reimbursement. There's some, right now, it doesn't require a lot of equipment. It's mainly policies, procedures, documenting that you've got things in place. Trauma level 3 would be a whole different ballgame.
So you're not, I mean, they're saying they're not gonna go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. Okay.
No.
I mean.
It's mostly paperwork,
Yes,
procedures, and, for that. They had it before, previous administration just let it go.
You're looking to be in Drummond 2 days a week, or?
Yes.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where we're staffing right now. We're bringing a new female provider online, a new grad, August. And then, I don't know how many of you remember Eddie Amber.
Yeah.
Okay, we're bringing him back part-time. And then when his contract is up, we're gonna bring him back full-time.
Someone earlier from Georgetown said, what is their tax dollars going to? And I brought them all up, including the hospital. So they are getting benefits.
Yeah, and, the reports that we're getting from ER from the community is very, very good.
Okay, so let's move on to our relationship with Coast to Coast.
Okay.
And if I may, do you guys want to come up a little closer and sit?
There's one chair up here.
Yeah, there's a chair up here.
Oh, yeah, can be my friend. I just have one, but
And by no means the commission is trying to direct you. We're
No,
just.
no,
we're
and I'm not here to accuse anybody. My job, we'll work with anybody. It's, basically, this has been a huge communication fiasco. But I just want to make sure that everybody knows that as far as the hospital, there's some things we could have done different. We found out that some of our ER people were using the quick reg registration process, which didn't give the Coast to Coast the information they needed. But all that had to be done was asked. And so I'll just kind of go down the list here. It was said that we don't communicate. Our last communication in 23 from Coast to Coast was on 12/13. That was regarding the license and the contract. And the first email communication in 2024 was on February 13th. We've been communicating with David Egging. Is that how you pronounce this right? 2 to 3 times a week for February, March, April. There was no communication in January that was initiated to us. On 2/13, I asked in a communication with David, asked if there was any other issues, and I requested weekly meetings to avoid any future problems, and I didn't have any response on that. Face sheets on 2/13, Coast to Coast requested info for 2 face sheets on 2/28. They requested 5. These were all faxed to Coast on 3/7 and 3/13. So they asked and we sent the information back. And then I've had also other emails where I've asked David 3 times, hey, if you still need information, give me a list. Give us a list and we'll get you the information. We're not hiding anything. And as far as one of the other things David asked me was the numbers. Well, unfortunately, our EMR doesn't track everything that we would like to get from it. So we went back and reviewed every single ER visit and went to the provider notes and ER notes from December 13th to April 3rd. And in that time frame, our ER had 120 visits. 13 of those were eligible for ground transfer. And 11 of that 13 were eligible for 13 were eligible for transfer. 11 of those were eligible for ground and 2 had to go Lifeline. Now that's the decision of the provider. That is solely their call to immediately assess and say, hey, they got to go Lifeline immediately. Okay. So of that 11, we went back, Coast to Coast was called in 100% of those 11 calls. From the provider notes in the ER, they transferred 7 and 4 of those they could not transfer because they were out and couldn't get there in time. So of that 4, we had used 3 for a ground transfer and 1 went Lifeline. So we've called Coast to Coast on 100% of the calls that were eligible for ground transfer. Currently on, I asked, when this hit the press, I asked David Egging what the status of the contract was, and he told me that it was still in force. But then on 4/5, Coast to Coast sent us a letter with the opportunity to void the contract. Grand County Medical Center took advantage of that and terminated the contract with Coast to Coast. He sent, along with that letter, he sent an offer letter or terms for a new agreement. I didn't think that they were reasonable, so I sent him another letter offering alternative terms for a new agreement, and I have not had a response from that yet. The terms of that agreement were similar to prices and charges that we've had with other transfer companies that we currently have agreements with. So that's kind of where it stands right now, and I'll be more than glad to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions. I have some comments, but no questions. Yep, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, from the county's perspective, again, like when I said, we're not trying to tell anyone what to do, but if we can mediate any issues, I think that's what we'd like to do, because working together, us working together, I think benefits the community. So I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but if we can help mediate something.
Oh, yeah, and just, you all work with anybody, they just, hey, you got a problem, tell me, and we'll try our best to fix it.
You had a comment, you said?
Yeah, obviously I don't have, dates and times in front of me. David forwards everything to me, so I'm just in the loop. I prefer David to deal with these because I'm here doing patient care. I don't need to be, dealing with the corporate level of stuff, even though I often do. We could go back and forth all day, to be completely honest, but I understand you're saying, the fast registration, the self-pay, but I'm going back weeks and weeks later and still not getting this information right. And I do have many emails from David and from me, either going to like Jamie or we don't necessarily go to you for face sheets. I know in the last email you did. David did email me over this morning the different proposed agreement that you sent in the evening that I have not gotten a chance to talk over with everyone. But obviously going forward, we'll just direct everything to you. So you know what's going on in house and can deal with other things. And.
Yeah,
and go from
and
there.
if you're still missing information, it's just like, you've got a year to bill and just give us a list. I've asked for a list 3 times. And even in the letter that I sent, agreeing to the voiding of the contract, I said, if you have any insurance information you're missing, give it to us and we'll get you what we have promptly. We're not hiding anything.
When you say you got a year to bill, but who can run on a year? Or how do
No,
you
I
manage-
realize that, but again,
I'm just asking.
yeah,
I'm just
we're only talking 7 transports from
No, but-
January.
7 transports or 7 transports.
Yeah, but that's not $50,000 of negative cash flow.
No, and that 50,000 is not just from Granite County. A lot of it is, but it's also, many other things.
Yeah.
But I also do bill for Phillipsburg ambulance as well. So
Yeah.
I'm not getting all that information as well. So
And
I can
that's
send you
true.
an email today with everything that I need because there is a long list. And I can even show email chains with other people of your staff. And I do want you to know that when I go in person and I ask for stuff, a lot of your staff cannot give it to me.
Well, and I think I hope that's not recent. We've recognized, we've heard that, and just like, there's no excuse for that at all. For them not knowing how to print off face sheets that just, I could go in there and print off a face sheet. It may take me a couple minutes, but if I can do it, certainly anybody who uses it every day can do it. And I don't use it every day, maybe once a week.
So, okay, one question. So are you saying that you didn't go directly to Brian, you went to the staff?
Yep, you go to the staff and then so like Jamie, I know she does majority of the stuff for registration, all that kind of stuff. So when you ask for face sheets, I typically go to her and then Erin does it as well. So Erin has been CC'd on that as well. We don't, go to the CEO for things, for that kind of stuff, but in terms of like contract issues, and obviously, yes, we go to Brian.
And Brian, you're saying, get hold of me, right?
Well, yes,
Get a hold of
and
Brian.
if there's a problem, if you're not getting results, get a hold of me. But from what I went back through, and I got all the email threads, the first request on February 13th for 2 face sheets, and then on the 28th for 5, those were faxed over on 3/7.
And here was the biggest thing about that is that we're emailing back and forth, right? With, this is name, date, birth, this date, time, I put them in. And now all of a sudden I get an email back saying, don't email patient information to my email. This isn't an encrypted line.
Well, that's true. The
So-
first 2 requests did not have, all they had was a patient number, date of birth, no identifying. The last 5 had names, dates of birth, and that's when that came up. And I responded immediately to David and just said, look, David, we don't have anything. I've talked to my IT. He's got we're just on General Office 360 on Outlook, and not 360, just Microsoft Office. And he said there's no encryption in there. So he found an encryption package, and then I notified David, hey, we finally decided on which one to use. And then I notified David, we've decided, and these 3 people have been assigned those 3 those encrypted emails, but please primarily use these 2 and not this one because they're the ones that deal with it. So,
Just supposed to use a number identifying instead of a name.
well, if you've got encrypted, it's okay now, but if you
Okay.
don't, then all you
Okay.
all you can do is a patient number. because that doesn't mean anything to anybody else unless it's in their system.
But that's.
The first two were just the numbers, the last 5 had the names, in it, and that's when that surfaced, so. A lot of this is, we don't know there's a problem until something comes up like, hey, these got names on them, well, we gotta do something different there. So, we'll work with anybody, I guarantee you that.
Well, it's beneficial for both.
Yeah.
It's beneficial for the whole county and for you and for coast to coast.
Will it still work if there's not a contract on transports that you just, they're just not a priority and then you can still use
Well,
them?
they're gonna be the same, if they agree to this, they'll be the same as Deer Lodge, as messy as anybody else would be. Or if we have a need, here's the people we call, there's no guarantee that we have to call them first or that they have to respond. It works both ways.
I guess from my perspective, I hope you'd call them first, but if it doesn't work out, I
Yeah.
understand.
I mean, ambulance service is critical to the community and critical to what the hospital's there to do. So we're gonna,
Is it a big difference in the contract or is it just, I guess that's not my business, shut up. Sorry.
So canceling the initial contract just allows the hospital to call whoever they would like for transports first. They don't have to call us first. That's what.
And yeah, all I'm saying, I'd like to keep the year, so hopefully you can be used first, but if it doesn't, yeah, they need to go down the line.
yeah, and the 4 that they were not able to, they were, we're not asking, I know and I've emailed this to David. I understand the financial reality that you can't sit there waiting for Grant County Medical Center to call. I mean, if you get an opportunity to go to Anaconda or Missoula, you gotta do it. Well, if we have a call, when they're, on their way to Missoula, they can't respond. I mean, it's just the way it is, and that's the way it's gonna be with any of them.
They said that too.
Basically
It's just
implied
the way it is,
utility.
you gotta take first come, first serve.
Yeah, well, if we would call them and they couldn't, then we called Deer Lodge, and then if they're going to Missoula, we called Massey.
One question for coast to coast, if I may, are you covering Georgetown? Cause that got brought up earlier.
Yeah, that keeps getting brought up. I'm not sure why.
Yes,
Yes, we are.
I've seen you out there.
Yeah, we
So-
have responded to a few calls up there.
Yeah, so people open meeting were saying, bashing you and with, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
No,
should shut that down.
Dispatch is instructed to call CDC up there at the lake.
Okay.
We're,
If the volunteer crew can't
Yeah.
go or whatever,
yeah,
or
and
combination of both.
We're
We're
all
all still
we're
on the same
pitched,
page.
exactly,
We're all
we're
pitched the
pitched
same.
together.
And I'll tell you, whatever we could do
Yep.
to keep them here, because having a critical care paramedic on a rural volunteer department is one of the most unheard of things in the United States. If we have the capability to keep a critical care paramedic
Yep.
on a volunteer service,
Yeah, look at Eastern Montana where they're just,
I mean,
no service.
we take the call we had last night. Having that capability saved that young man's life.
I just want to make one comment, and this is from the history in our ambulance service. When we didn't have anything, and we had Anaconda Deer Lodge County came in, and we asked them if we could get their help. And they pretty much said no, that they were not going to pick up anybody on the Granite County side. The executive point blank said that, right? Do you remember that?
Yes, yep.
So this is one reason when we have someone that's here, that's right in Granite County, it's vital if we could to reach out to them first. If they're not available, fine. That would just be a courtesy as being, they're in Granite County and the medical center is Granite County and we're all paying taxes. And when we get, and it was horrible, the attitude that was pitched back to us because we desperately needed ambulance help and we just didn't have it. We didn't have it. And we quit funding the Peaburg ambulance. We didn't just, disband them, but we quit funding because no one would go on runs. And so now that it's working, we just want to all work together if we could. Yes, Dwayne?
One more question, I think I know the answer to it, but is coast to coast when you can taking your emergency people to Granite County Medical Center?
Depending on what the patient's needs are, then yes.
There are
You have a
still
comment?
some,
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know, how you would phrase it, but concerns with some of the nursing staff. So last night, for example, we had Lifelight rendezvousing at the hospital. We were en route with our critical patient. I called report, and I don't know the name. I don't care to know the name of the nurse. I'm not trying to get
I know
anybody
who
in
it was,
trouble.
I already know about it.
I was told in the middle of my giving report that this patient is above our level of care, we're not taking it. I don't care what your level of care is. If Lifelight is landing there and that patient crashes in the parking lot, you're taking that patient. There's no telling me you're not taking a patient at a hospital that we're bringing it to. And that there's been it's been much less, I will say that, and I will echo that your new director of nursing is a godsend to both your side of things and our EMS side of things. He's been working with me and coast to coast to really get this relationship back on track, and I can't thank him enough. He's done whatever we need to get done, and he is getting that into shape. And I will say, I will also echo the fact that a lot of folks are willing to go to this emergency room now. From when I first took over, the pages came out, it was requesting to go to Missoula, requesting to go to Anaconda. And we have definitely changed that culture to where you don't get to request where you go, unfortunately, with a 911. That is beyond a request, and patients have been much more inclined and accepting of going to our hospital. And I will say that has gotten much better, and I greatly appreciate that. And it's a work in progress all the way down from rebuilding our ambulance.
You're saying you have protocols in place and you're gonna follow the protocols to the best for care.
I mean, for 911, I can't bypass a hospital. If that patient needs to go to a hospital and they're not stable enough to go anywhere, if they die in the back of my ambulance, I have to justify why I bypassed the closest hospital that was 5 minutes from me to go to Missoula or to go to Anaconda. And just bringing those patients there brings the county back home. It helps us both.
I guarantee you, Lil John, that nurse is being built.
It's good talk.
Yeah.
We are doing much better on the ambulance side. And I feel like from when I've started with this, I feel like our emergency room is doing better. And again, whatever we can do to keep coast to coast here, because they are invaluable to our volunteer department. They don't make runs as coast to coast when the 911 calls out. They jump on our ambulance. They're on our volunteer service. They're not only on the volunteer ambulance, they volunteer with search and rescue. Jason's now with the sheriff's department. Sarah works as a dispatcher. They are embedding themselves in our community, and whatever we can do to keep them here, I would suggest we do that.
I concur with you on that. I'd like to see them do primary stuff like we talked about originally, but maybe that's a work in progress.
It's working how it is, and it's great. We've got Jason can meet us anywhere with his critical care paramedic status. Is again an invaluable resource to have in a rural EMS community. I can't stress that enough. Just having, you look at other departments, even I would dare say Anaconda doesn't even have a critical care paramedic on their staff, and they're a paid department. It is unheard of in a volunteer service.
Last time I checked, we are the only critical care paramedic on the west side of Montana. The only other one, ground, is Bozeman. That's it. That's all there is in the state of
And
Montana.
having somebody with that licensure willing to volunteer their time is worth keeping around.
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure they can stay around too, because they're not making money at it, but I'll defer to you guys' wisdom.
It's a valuable service. And like I said, even it's been great getting to the hospital. People are willing to go there. We don't get any pushback. And then, if it's something that the hospital inevitably can't handle in the long run, we can get there and we can stabilize that patient. And we have a better area than just sitting in the back of the ambulance to keep them stable. And that's the resource in and of itself in a small community.
some good talk, got stuff out straight. Move ahead, make it
Yeah,
better.
and my sole purpose in outlining this was to just show that we are, we've been communicating, we are open. Hey, if you ask us something, we'll do our best to respond and get you the information. So we're willing to work with anybody.
And this is good talk, and we need it kind of all to get and discuss.
Yeah, and I
it's-
feel like
it's-
we can all work together, and myself being, running our ambulance and having them, and having to use you guys, I kind of feel like it's a decent middle ground that we can all kind of talk together. I need both of you guys, for sure.
I seen you in there, new hot rod.
It has already proved itself quite valuable. I just got,
Durango hot rod.
yeah, it unfortunately didn't come with the Hellcat engine, only the V6, but
Seemed like it was up into that speed.
it has been very valuable to be able to get to calls initially, or even where that ambulance can't make it. But we can get there quicker. We've assisted Drummond's calls with it. I can get there pretty quick, a lot faster than I get there in an ambulance if it's a critical call. And it, now we just gotta outfit it with the rest of that LATCF funding so we can get it on the books as an official QRU with, everything we needed. And I gotta get the radio program, get some stickers on it, get some more equipment just to make it state standards. But right now as a command vehicle, it's already proven itself quite valuable.
Yeah, but budget appropriation they need to outfit it, or?
I believe we had spoken about using the LATCF funding still to finish outfitting that ambulance, so everything will, yeah, everything will come back at least on our budget report. I'll make sure to put LATCF on there. But, it was, for the price of it, we did bring it into D&J. All it needed was an oil change. I had them do an inspection. That was $250 just to do a full roundabout before we started driving it. And the only issue was, this might be foreign to some of you guys, but control arm linkage. And that was $250. So for the price of that, to have it delivered, I think it was $25,000. Saving, and it came with lights and radio. I mean, getting a brand new out of the box outfitting it would have been $100,000. So saving that amount and being able to put it towards some equipment in it, I think still saved the county a lot of money.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks, everybody.
as it stands right now, we don't have a contract with Coast to Coast, so it's in the works, so we just have to, see what happens and negotiate.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Brian.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, all right.
Have a good day. Thanks.
Oh, we have you have a public comment? You have a public comment?
Oh, I have a public comment.
Okay.
For what?
I can hang up.
Go ahead, Elena. Brian. Brian. Brian back in.
Thank you. Elena Gagliano for the record. Point of clarification, it was hard following, but did somebody say that if the person is coherent that they pick up, he has no option as to what hospital they want to go to? Am I correct on that?
If it is a 911 call, and an emergent call, they go to the closest available hospital. They're, it's not a pick and choose where they want to go. If it's a 911 call per state mandates, it's the closest available hospital. Because again, we're not taking our ambulance all the way to Missoula for 4 hours, and that leaves our county with nothing.
Okay, so you're with Coast to Coast?
No, I run Phillipsburg Ambulance.
Phillipsburg Ambulance. Okay, because I would think I would have an option of where I want to go. Otherwise, maybe that's why some people get in a car and they say, forget it, I'm going by car.
Yeah, if it's a
Thank you.
911 call, it's the closest available hospital, and that's for insurance reasons and protection of our county and our resources.
And is that the same way with Coast to Coast?
Yes.
So that's,
Yeah, I mean,
it can be up to the provider. So if it's like something that's, you know that they need surgery, let's say, that Granite County can't do, then it's up to the provider to choose if they are stable enough to make it that far. And if they are not, then yes, we're still going to the closest.
Because not to be argumentative or not, but Granite County Medical Center is more leans towards being a nursing home and not a full-fledged critical access hospital. And I've had personal experience where a person was taken to the hospital, couldn't handle it, and then they were going to fly him someplace, but that wasn't going to happen because the weather was bad. So they got an ambulance to take him halfway, a whole story behind it. And there's, as I said, there's a lot of people, they'd rather not, they want to go to a hospital that's going to take care of them. And not that they have to be carted all around. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena.
People need to get into bashing everybody.
Okay, I guess that's it. No more questions from the public? None? Thank you, people. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow, you guys are just running right on time today.
What's that?
You're running right on time.
I'm very happy, thank you.
You burned it today.
Okay, we are at 1 o'clock and the next agenda item is the Mako Board of Directors letter concerning House Bill 442, discussion and decision. Go ahead.
Okay, I got a little speech here. This has morphed into a disagreement for separation of powers, the legislative, judicial, and executive branches of the government. And it basically doesn't have anything to do with marijuana and the road thing. The whole thing, when I'm getting through some people in the legislature, is it has to do with this separation of powers, the judicial telling legislative what to do, and that's how the vote's gonna go. I don't think anybody cares what we think. I mean, because the way I've heard it, I mean, there's not even talking about the marijuana on the roads. So I'd say that we should probably make a motion to table this, because I think, and I'm really disappointed in Mako, because I think they know, or they should know, that this is changed. The whole topic has changed from the marijuana. But they didn't tell anybody. And they sent out that letter saying it was for the, marijuana tax going to the roads and whatever.
But I didn't get to, I started reading and I never loved it yet. I didn't read all this other stuff going on.
I got two things here from legislators, that one was from Hamilton, a guy, senator from Hamilton, and the other guy, and they're really sharp, and the one guy was telling about how it was done correctly in the legislature to veto. You see, that Mako was coming out against Gianforte. I mean, come on, he did it right, according to what I read. He did it right. He sent that bill back. He vetoed it, and it was read in the Senate that he vetoed it right before sign die. And that's exactly what he should have done. And the House was still in session. So they're saying that he didn't send it back there until after Sandai, meaning end of the session. What I've read, that they can prove it because it's on film of them reading that bill in the Senate.
Reading his veto letter. Okay. So according, I'm reading up on it, it said that when they adjourned, they hadn't read the letter, but they adjourned, and then the letter was read, is what they're saying.
And the guy that started the veto bill thing, and he is the one that I think made the motion to sign that. Why to do that? And then come back against it afterwards.
Okay, so no, then I'm just reading up on it so that I understand it, and this letter doesn't mention the separation of, okay, there should be separation of, what is it, judicial, executive, and legislature. And so what Lang did is he went in and he said, okay, we didn't get a chance to address this veto letter because we adjourned before the letter was even read, and it stands as was. So he said that he went in and wasn't timely. But I don't think this letter is stating anything concerning the separation of these branches. It's just saying what the SB 442 was. And it was a good partisan bill. It was a good partisan bill. And it was taking marijuana money and distributing some to the counties. This is, and it passed, it was bipartisan, it passed. So when the governor vetoed it, and the reason that he vetoed it is he said that it was a slippery slope and that what the state collects, then the state should be able to keep it and it shouldn't go to the counties. Because the counties, he pretty much said, the counties are not responsible to spend it correctly, is what he said, is what I read. And that's what this letter is saying.
It's totally true. Everything you said is true. But it's not about, the vote isn't about that letter now. It isn't about that marijuana. And it's about the separation of power. That's how the legislature is voting on it.
Oh,
They're saying, okay, judicial, you don't have the right to tell us how to do this. Because we did it right, and we're gonna stand by our, separation of powers. We have the power to make the laws. The legislature is saying that. Okay, so
Okay.
So if we voted for this bill the way Mako points out, that's not the way.
This is just a letter that's not anything to do, what I can see, anything to do with how they're gonna vote. They just want the public to realize that the governor vetoed SB 442, which was a bipartisan, absolutely across the board. People were in favor of giving, or the Senate legislatures and senators were agreed in giving money to the counties for infrastructure, which we desperately need with all the talk today about the gravel and stuff.
That's what that letter says.
Yeah.
That's what I'm,
Yeah.
and I agree that's what that letter
Yeah.
says, but that's not what this vote is now. The vote is now separation of powers. They're saying that the judicial cannot run the legislative branches or
I
the
know,
executive,
but
because they're
this-
saying that the executive did it wrong.
Was this
And-
letter telling us to do what?
So I'll just read this one little part. One guy answered this Lang, and he says, so respectively, I ask you, Lang, why did you vote for this signed die motion after SB 442, the bill you sponsored was vetoed? And the veto was returned to the Senate, read across the rostrum in preparation for a vote. What political game are you playing? or was it creative time? That's the answer to that. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't make any difference what we vote. Because that's not gonna be the vote in the legislature.
I
And
know.
right now, and it's gotta be in next week. And these people, Mako wants us to vote on this for promoting the original plan.
There's
the
no
442.
vote on this, Chuck. It's just a letter to the people
And
saying,
then post it.
this is why they supported the veto on, or didn't support the veto on Senate Bill 442, because
Well, it's urging us to support that 442 bill and write to the senators and whatever, and representatives, and post it here and get people to call them too, to vote on the 442. But what I'm saying is, that was the original intent, but it's changed. It's changed to this separation of powers between the branches of government.
okay, that's between the branches of government. The counties are saying vote for it because we want.
But that's,
We're not voting, yes, we as the Mako, as belonging to the association, are upset with them vetoing it. And if there's any way that we could get it back in, why wouldn't we want it back in so that we could get some revenue from
I
it?
can't read this whole thing to you, but the way I read this whole thing, it was done correctly. It wasn't done wrong. And they're just bringing this up, trying to get an override veto.
But why wouldn't we as a county entity support Senate Bill 442? Even if it has been vetoed, maybe we could get it.
Well, you can do it, and the thing is, what should be done, and this points this out, that it should be brought up in the next legislature. And the next legislature will be over a year from now. So, I mean, so people can't wait 8 months to re-talk it, rethink the whole thing, and then maybe it'll pass, maybe it won't.
Okay.
But that's where I think it should be, and I think we should.
Okay, so your motion is not
Just to
to
take-
sign this letter. Or you might as well make a motion not to sign this letter.
My motion is not to sign the letter. As it
Is
is.
there a second?
I'm so lost on this. I don't see how I could vote either way, because I don't understand it at all. I'm reading it, I'm trying to understand it. I mean, I totally agree with both, but I don't.
Well, I agree with the intent, if that's what the real, if that's the way it's gonna be. But like I say, it morphed into this other.
And this is what has happened. This is what has absolutely happened in the meantime, because you're saying it was done properly.
That's what I read here,
Yeah, that's what you're reading. And what the letter to the citizens is saying is that we support Senate Bill 442. If there's a way that we can get the veto unvetoed, why wouldn't we want that? Even if,
Because it was done correctly, and the judicial is telling them to do that. You see, there's a separation of powers, and you can't have, you'd have a judicial oligarchy, and that is a few people would run the government. Because they can override, if this goes through, they can override the legislature on just about anything. They can say, no, we don't like that, so we're gonna do this.
so what you're saying is that it was done correctly according to the legislators.
According to what I read.
According to what you read.
Mhm.
And the Supreme Court is saying that it wasn't done correctly, they need to revoke.
Well, I think this is
What?
a lower court.
The lower court, not the
I
Supreme
think,
Court.
I don't quote me.
What were they saying here that, trying to read this and catch up?
Basically, and you agree on the letter, that this letter is just saying, hey, the governor vetoed it.
I'm saying that if we were just voting on that letter, I would say you gotta go vote for it, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
abstain.
And we
Okay.
can just sign it and say
No,
to
I
the
wouldn't
citizens.
sign it or whatever,
to the
but what I'm saying is, this thing, whole thing is morphed, like I said before, is morphed into this disagreement between the separation of powers. And that is the way I understand it. A lot of the
No, and I
legislators
see
will,
exactly where you're coming from, and you're saying that this, and I guess we're at an impasse, right? Because you don't. Do you have a second for him not to send a letter or what?
Well, I don't, no, because I don't understand it. I can't really, I'm not trying to get, I'm not trying to get out and not vote on it. It's just when you read it here and some of the stuff, it's just.
So then the motion not to send it is
would
kind of
die, and
moot, and
there'd
it's
be-
died.
and there'd be.
The whole thing is
the whole-
died.
The whole thing's died.
So we're not gonna do anything with this. Is that,
I guess not.
okay? Okay, because you don't understand it, and he's going that way, and I'm going this way. Takes three. So, and I guess, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard, it'd be pretty shitty of me to vote either way when you don't understand it, is what I'm saying. And I didn't, what I'm reading, yeah, I'm just saying that
Okay, so how does that work?
It dies for lack of a second.
Dies, so it's dead in the water. Okay, dead in the water. Is there any public comments? Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Blanche. I get a kick out of it. You know damn well I'm the one that's going to be asking a question or commenting. Technically, to my understanding, Granite County is not going to sign this letter. You have a whole bunch of other counties that have signed it. So it really doesn't matter. However, it's not going to stop it from going forward because the Supreme Court has said something. Gene Forte doesn't agree. And so therefore, it's not ended. And that's all that's going to happen. And Granite County, by saying, no, we're not, just, all right, the county is not going to be part of this. Well, a whole bunch of other counties are. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Any other public comment? Do you have a public comment?
On this topic?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so we can move on right on time. Shared office space with Healthy Granite County Network.
Hi, how are you guys? I'm Kayla Sanders. I'm the network director for the Healthy Granite County Network.
Okay.
Hi. So you guys requested me to be here, so.
Okay, so what it is the elevator.
Uh-huh.
The elevator is gonna create an empty space.
Yeah.
And being the county health is in that space, we have to find them space, and we have to find them because they are county health, and so we unfortunately are gonna have to request that they have the offices that you are using.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know a nicer way to say it, or say.
No, I appreciate it. I totally understand. And I appreciate that it's worked out as long as it has. And I do think that we have found a new space, so I think we'll be okay. So, don't worry about us not being okay. But I would like to request or ask if it's okay if we could continue to share the Drummond space, because we do not have a space in Drummond right now.
I don't see any problem with that, do you?
Oh, okay, good.
I don't know, maybe we should ask them first if we're gonna get a county health nurse and that coming in there. I think we better find out first through them.
Well, see, there was no problem with the Drummond
Yeah.
space, the only problem
I
was
don't know, I
created.
think, I'm just saying, should ask them first. I don't know.
Well, because it wasn't really brought up, I never even thought about the Drummond space, but
Okay,
I will just find out for sure.
okay.
Because you
Yeah, I don't want
don't
to-
have an area.
I don't want
Yeah.
to say not to find out.
We don't have a space in Drummond and it's been working as far as I know.
And
In
where are
Drummond,
you
it's
at
been
in
working
Drummond?
fine. We use the public health space there. And it's very limited, we're not there very often, but Anna does use it sometimes. And then, when
Who does?
Anna Burson,
She's
our
working nights
counselor,
now, so that might be all right too. right?
she still sees people during the day some, on a part-time basis in the county. But yeah, you're right, she does do nights. For Intermountain, they hired her as well, so.
Yeah, I don't, it's up to them, I don't care, but I just wanna make sure.
Well, it is a
before they
county
take on
building, so
some,
I
there's
guess
some-
they'd have to come to us and say, hey, we can't. Yeah, so if you wanted to visit with them,
Okay.
then get back to us.
Yeah, I think we can work around
Yeah.
schedules too,
Yeah.
if there's an issue there.
Cause that wasn't even on the agenda for Drummond, we didn't.
Okay,
It was
cool.
just here because the elevator's going where
yes,
the county health is, and so we have to,
yeah, okay.
okay.
So when do you need us out? Can I request that we wait until the first week of May?
I think
Probably listening to him today, it sounds like they're gonna start upstairs.
Yeah, I think you're
Oh,
safe, cause they're gonna
okay.
do the bathrooms
Yeah.
first before they do, yeah.
I need
usually
the elevator
looked up
prep.
First of May, I think.
First of May.
how
Okay.
long are you gonna need? I mean, if we give you notice,
Well, a lot of the things in there, like the big table and stuff, it's yours anyway, so we'll leave all of that. It might take us, I can't get into my new space, that's the only issue, I can't move this stuff until after May 1st.
okay.
So that's why I'm wondering if we could do the first week of May, we should be able to get it out of there for you.
Okay, so Billy, we could probably give them May, okay, couldn't we?
Yeah, I would think so. I think, would it work okay if the days, I know the current public health office space is in disarray.
Yeah,
If on those Wednesdays when, we have a public health nurse here, which I think is just one day a month, can they share that space in this coming month or two?
definitely.
Okay,
Or they can shut their stuff in to get
Yeah.
organized later, okay.
The only
Perfect.
day we're using it right now is for Anna on Thursdays.
okay,
So if they
there's
need
no
it,
conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I think, yeah.
yeah. Thank you guys for giving us to it for as long as you
Yeah.
did. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. You gave us a leg up and we're going gangbusters now and I feel like we're really, doing some good stuff here. So, yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, great,
All right.
thank you.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye, you too.
Thanks. Sarah.
That was our last agenda item. Did you have something that you wanted to state?
Yes, yes.
State your name.
My name is Dan Flynn, and I came over to pay my taxes because I got them in the mail. First thing I want to tell you is it was a good move what you did, even if it failed. As far as trying to recoup that money from the state mills. Okay, that is what I would like is I'd like to request that you consider doing some maintenance to the Red Lion Road. It's been years and years and years. It's getting pretty tough to get. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you for letting me talk.
You bet.
Yeah,
Red Lion.
part of it is,
Is it Red Lion a county road?
part of it is.
Yeah.
Parts County and Parts Forest Service.
It's horrible.
It's a horrible.
Mhm.
Years ago, if I may continue, years ago, you had an agreement with the Forest Service and they would maintain it, and then you guys would maintain a road somewhere else that was Forest Service. That's what I was told 30 years ago.
So it was on your.
The Forest Service hasn't touched that road since, I don't know, if you throw a name out, Knievel
Okay.
wasn't the Forest Service.
Okay.
That was a long time.
Okay, so we're gonna be looking at the master plan with the Forest Service, so I guess we can look into that.
Yeah.
We'll look into it. Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. We are adjourned.
Good seeing you again, Blanche.
Oh, you too.